Greetings, ladies and gentle devils. I am your host, the amazing Black Man. I am joined by these fine devils here. Let's start with Mr. Harold. Introduce yourself.
I'm a sir now. Hello. My name is Harold Finch. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Devil Hunter James. Speak up.
Hi.
Alright. Jinx.
Thanks, Sasamurai. Nice to be here.
Bio Devil Doom.
Hi, I'm absolutely exhausted, so I'm gonna try to keep my answers short.
That
today.
shit's too long already. Shut up.
Fuck off.
Alright, and the guest of honor, Renegade. Assuming if you could talk later.
I can, and I love rubbing blue orbs on my nipples, so let's get this started.
Man,
why
you
not
sound
gold?
normal to me.
Why not gold orbs?
I'm
Please,
sick. I'm sick, so I'm gonna be in limited capacity, but how's it going, everyone?
Pretty good.
Alright, so who wants to read number one?
I could read off number one if you'd like.
Be my guest.
Okay, how were you introduced to Devil May Cry? Also, how many years of experience do you have with the series? I was actually introduced to this series at a very young age. It pretty much when the series was like first a thing back on PS2, back in the PS1 days. So I got introduced to it around the same time that Onimusha got released. I have about 17 years worth of experience with the series, so it's a lot of time, and I absolutely adore this series.
All right, who will go next on the question?
I'll go next.
Go right ahead.
Oh god. I was introduced to Devil May Cry, I think back in like 2007, 2008, when the Devil May Cry 4 original demo on the Xbox 360 was out. That's how I got started. I'd say it's been about a decade now. I've been playing Devil May Cry on and off.
Oh, you wanted to run it once I actually put the demo. Nice.
Yeah. It was a very long time ago now, but it's my first actual substantial memory of Devil May Cry.
That's good.
I'll go real quick. I think my first memory of DMC was when they showed off the DMC display in Game Informer, and the first thing they said was, hey, this game is already cool because you can knock an enemy in the air with a sword and shoot him while he's falling down. And I think that one line got me to buy the game when it came out in 2001. And from then on, I was a fan ever since. I really loved the entire series from there.
All right. Let's go next.
I guess I'll go.
All right.
I got introduced actually from a Game Informer magazine for DMC4 in 2007. It had Dante and Nero on it. And purely based on the character designs, I decided to try the series on the 360. And I loved it so damn much, I went back and played the others, and I became a fanatic.
All right, I guess it's my turn. This is kind of lengthy, so I'll try to keep this short, though. But basically, around 2008 or 2009, pretty sure 2009, that a friend of my mom's came by, and he brought this big-ass case of games. And won a few games with Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4, but I didn't have it 360, so I couldn't play 4. So I've sat around playing the first 3 games, and I didn't get any sleep that night. So, like, maybe a couple of months later, I went to GameStop with my, I think, grandmother. I almost picked up Onimusha Diamond Dreams, but I went with the 5th anniversary collection for Devil May Cry, and since then, I just became a fan.
Oh, you dodged the bullet.
You made a good decision, Brandon.
Yeah.
Man, you missed out on Dom's game.
You missed out on a shit Ono Onimusha game.
Either or, though, I would be introduced into 2 different series at the same time, oddly enough.
Onimusha. that's
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Yeah, but yeah, since then, I've been a fan, and I eventually get my own copy of Devil May Cry 4, like, in 2011, and I had, like, 4 copies extra after that, but yeah, I have at least about good 10 years of experience.
I think me and Ren have, like, the most experience, but I don't know, maybe Jinx also.
My first memories is just simply
coming home from school, next thing I see is a PS2 on the floor and 2 games, being Devil May Cry 1 and Resident Evil Outbreak File 1. And from there, I haven't... That's being the only game I've played, but I've seen walkthroughs, and that's about as much experience as I have regarding the series.
All right. I think we got everybody. So let's go ahead and move on to question number 2. I'll read that one off. What are some of your favorite / best memories of your first playthrough in the DMC games? Oh, DMC games you started with. It could be either one.
I can go first, since it's a quick one.
Go ahead.
I mean, that very day I started playing it, I got through the first dungeon, made my way to the first boss, died, turned it off, and never played again. I never beat the game once. I mean, it's still a favorite memory, just not a fun one.
All right. Who'll go next?
I can go.
Or you could go next. That's fine.
Sorry about that.
It's cool.
My first memory, I think, is because I originally, when I played the demo in DMC4, I went and played DMC3, and I hadn't died up until like Virgil 2, and that's an odd one for me. I usually am about these types of games, but I got up to Virgil 2, and he was like towards the last of his health. Doesn't he like DT around then? Like around like his last quarter?
Yes, Virgil 2
when he has less than half, right?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, when he DT'd, I just about shit my pants because he bodied me right then and there. And then, of course, your first death in DMC3, its easy mode is now selectable, and that's the one memory that will always stick out to me. It's like the game was rubbing salt in the wound.
So I could go next then.
What?
I'm sorry?
No, I said go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So for me, because I started the series way back when it started, like my favorite memory was being able to like get Alistair and then afterward go ahead and like fight Phantom for the first time in 1. Because it was just so cool. Like, yeah, I'd never seen anything like that in a game before. Like a guy with like a red jacket, white hair gets stabbed in the chest with a lightning sword. He has it go all the way through his chest, and then he just starts using it like there's nothing fucking to it. For me, at least, I think it's just one of those things where it will always stick as like one of my favorite memories. There's a whole lot, but I don't want to like go on forever. But I would say that one would be one of my favorites.
I would say the same thing though, but it's a 3-way toss between Dante jump off the tower into and Dante killing those 7 deadly sins in his office. Those 3 alone, like a good mixture. It's like I can't pick between the 3 because as a kid, you just all mind blown and shit.
Yeah.
Who else didn't go?
I haven't gone yet.
Go right ahead.
Since 4 was my first, and I didn't play the other games until way later. Pretty much the opening cutscene where Dante destroys the entire order in the church in the very beginning, and Nero drop kicks him. Yeah, probably once he shot the Pope, I was like, all right, this game is hype.
That's basically what happened.
The blood on his face is probably my most impactful because remember, this is my first introduction to the character, so I don't know how he is before the other game.
Oh, you must have been so confused.
Basically, you saw him as the villain role.
Yeah, and I didn't know who he was until I saw the other games. Like, oh, okay then. Yeah, it's such a dark. He's a really dark intro for 4. Just comes in and kills people, and you think he's the bad guy, and then it turns out everybody's a demon, so he actually is a good guy. So they bait and switch you.
That is for a fact, actually. But who else didn't go, by the way?
I think everybody went.
Everybody but Ren, I think.
I didn't go.
Go right ahead, sir.
My answer is pretty straightforward. So, Devil May Cry 3. Now, this is not to say that I didn't play like 1 or 2 prior to this. I did, but I feel like my favorite moment is Devil May Cry 3, where I went to Virgil 1 the first time and I kept losing. over and over and over again. And then when I finally beat him and made him my bitch, then I was so content because I was stuck on that boss fight for like an hour. This was my first time playing like this game in particular, so I didn't know how all the mechanics worked. That boss fight was very riveting because it taught me like all the mechanics I needed to know while being a challenging fight. So I just think that learning how Virgil operated and learning how the game really like tested your patience and your limits, because back then I think I was playing like the hard mode copy as well, because Capcom decided to say, you know, fuck everyone who has like Dante's Awakening. We'll just put hard mode as normal mode and you have to deal with it, right? So that was something that kind of, you know, the difficulty was there, so I had to get used to it. But once I did master that game, that was a very good experience for me.
Actually, Ren, I'm glad you brought that up though, because the OG Dante's Awakening was actually my first experience playing DMC3, and man, I got destroyed by Acne Roja. I haven't gotten
vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla.
Yeah.
I have never played vanilla.
You know, people have quit vanilla just because of Cerberus.
I'm not
Man,
surprised.
You think that's bad? What was it? Someone who's in our group is not here. Mr. Cossum said he quit getting bodied by a Hell Vanguard. He never got past the Hell Vanguard in vanilla.
Damn.
Yeah, that game is truly a brutal testament. You know, if you're not ready going in, being somewhat prepared, you're gonna get destroyed. So I think just overcoming the adversity was a really good experience for me.
Who's the real number 3?
I'll read number 3.
Go right ahead.
The Devil May Cry series is no stranger to having some really awesome music, which is even shown with 5's battle theme for Nero's Devil Trigger. Nero Devil Trigger. In your opinion, which game has the best soundtrack currently?
I'd say 3. It's a very easy answer for me. Every track I really, really enjoyed. If I had a runner-up, it would be 4.
For me, honestly, it'd be toss-up between 2 and 3. 4 had a little bit more forgettable set pieces, like when we exploring the towns or other like level areas, but the boss themes are top-notch. But
everyone knows I really don't like DMC2 that much, and you're gonna find out why later.
For me, I love 2 soundtrack, and well, I love mostly 2, 3, and 4, so it's hard for me to pick. But I am very fond of like Nero's theme from 4 or Devil's Never Cry from 3, so it's a hard toss-up for me.
See, I'm kind of the opposite from James. Like, I kind of like 1, 2, and 3 mostly. Not to say that I don't like 4. I do think there are some great tracks in 4, especially like Shall Never Surrender. But for me, I think it would have to be like Shoot the Works from 2 or Devil's Never Cry from 3. Although Public Enemy from 1 is also great.
I think that's going to be the general consensus. A lot of people like Devils Never Cry, so
It's still the best soundtrack of the game for me. I don't know. We'll see if 5 tops it or not.
they have like 136 songs, so that's quite a lot.
152, I think, actually.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it's gonna be 5 discs.
Jesus.
Fuck.
It is 136, but it is across 5 discs.
Man, now I know why they couldn't easily replace Subhuman. They blew all the budget on all the other songs.
So, Brandon, you were saying something?
Yeah, I'm like, Devil's Never Cry is like the national anthem for Devil May Cry, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Did everybody go? Because I got a side question to ask, actually.
I wanted to say my personal favorite soundtrack in the series has to be DMC1. Like, I genuinely love that soundtrack. The Nilo Angelo boss fight music is great. Like, it's genuinely a great piece of music. I'm not a big fan of Dante's theme in that one.
Oh, Lock and Load.
I like it, don't get me wrong, but it pales in comparison to the rest of his themes across the series. But
I do agree with that.
I think every other, I love every other song, and I think the boss themes are just really, really good.
Okay, who's next? Hey, Jinx, did you go?
Oh, my apologies. Like I said, since I'm a little bit biased considering I never made it that far, I'm gonna have to go with DMC one with the boss theme. That's really all I can say regarding it.
All right. Well, this is for everybody else that went past one though. Can you like list a particular favorite track from each game? You can include DMC in that mix if you're really, really, really desperate.
Okay, can I start with that then?
Go right ahead.
There's no such thing as a good soundtrack, or there's no such thing as a good track in DMC. All the battle music sucks ass in that game.
You know which one is good? The unreleased one.
But that being said, for me at least, it would have to be Public Enemy from 1, Shoot the Works from 2, Taste the Blood from 3. I think there was the Virgil variant. That one was pretty good. And then what is it? Never Surrender from 4.
Gonna make mines quick. I forgot what the hell. Well, I guess they just call it like Griffin's theme in DMC one. I forgot the song listing's name, but Griffin's yeah. Griffin's theme in DMC 1, DMC 2, Shoot the Works, DMC 3, Devils Never Cry, Taste of Blood is also pretty cool, and DMC 4, Sworn Through Swords.
I found it, Ren. It's literally called Flock Off.
Flock Off, okay, yeah.
Sworn Through Swords has a really good remix on the HRHM Arrange soundtrack as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that.
People universally like Burial's theme.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
For me, I think it's as I mentioned for each game, it's for me Super Ultraviolet, which is Nilo Angelo Battle Version 3. For DMC 1, DMC 2 is actually Cursed Giant for me. DMC 3, DMC 3 is the Virgil themes, the various Virgil themes. I think it's just it's 3 separate ones, so I'll just go with Virgil 3. DMC 4, I think, is the Shall Never Surrender. That one's just my jam.
Okay. No, for me though, some of these are maybe kind of obvious though, but for one, it'll be Super Plug Enemy, which I think is Sparta's theme. If not, Devil's Sunday. For 2, it's the Heads and Tails track. I just love that track. For 3 is obviously Devils Never Cry, but I will switch it up. I will put Taste of Blood, particularly Virgil's mix, because I like the beat for it a little bit more. And for 4, I will go with Time Has Come. Either that or like Burial's theme or Dante's theme when you actually play as him.
Oh, that version of Locked and Loaded.
Yep.
Oh, was I supposed to list my favorites as well?
Did you?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
From 1, I'd have to say regular Nil Angel's original theme. Probably my more fond of. 2, I would say Fire Away, which I think is the first theme for Dante 2, or is it a second? Brandon, you would know.
I'm pretty sure it's the second, but I could double check.
Yeah, whatever his very first theme was is my favorite. For 3, I'll be different. I'll say, what is it? You've Crossed the Line, or whatever it's called. I forgot if it has an official name or not.
Now you really cross the line? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's the second battle theme for both characters, I believe.
Yeah, because they usually just refer to it as generic battle theme 2 or something for the characters.
Right.
For 4, I'll be different again. I'll say Lock and Load for Dante. Just the regular version when you play as him.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm assuming everybody went correct.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, okay, well, in the case, let me go ahead and read off real quick. Throughout the series, Dante has used a variety of different devil arms and firearms. If you could pick 2 of each, which would be your most and least favorite? Actually, I'll go first real quick. My favorite, as not the main source, like between Amoto, Rebellion, and whatnot, would be, honestly, probably Agni and Rujo, because I feel like those weapons definitely got a lot of variety going for it. And my least favorite would be for Devil Arms. Truth be told, I gotta go with Navon or Gilgamesh. Navon's fun to use though, but I feel like they could done much more with the moveset. And Gilgamesh only because being that vanilla DMC4 is different from special edition, I feel like the gauntlets didn't age well compared to like the other two characters that have gauntlets like Trish and Virgil. So for firearms, so I gotta go with Clean Hand. That weapon's a lot of fun to use on DMC3. But for my least favorite, RMS, because that gun is kind of useless, honestly.
It's a real oddball thing.
Yeah. All right, Don, go ahead.
I'll go last because I kind of need to shut my dog up for a second because she won't stop barking.
Okay,
I'll take it then.
go ahead.
All right. So we have to pick one. You said one favorite and one not favorite for each.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say Yamato.
Well, no, fuck it, go ahead.
Yeah, for Devil Arms,
Because
if I had to pick a favorite, it would be Yamato. If I had to pick one I really don't like, I might have to say Cerberus, actually, because it doesn't have air hike, and that always bothered me. Even though I like the concept of the weapons, functionality-wise, it's missing some vital things that make it better, or would make it better.
No, it doesn't have appropriate launcher, so you gotta rely on the weapons to actually do launchers and air combos.
And no double jump.
Mm-hmm.
So if it it'll have those in 5, so at least that'll be rectified. For firearms, I actually like Coyote A lot. Gets the job done. Charge shot is ridiculous. Fireworks is fun and flashy. If I had to pick one I don't like Nightmare Beta. I don't like it because it takes DT to use it. That's about it.
At least it pay off for it though, because it is a really, really strong weapon when you use it correctly.
It has the payoff, but if I'm not in a super character, I tend to not want to throw away my DT for the gun. That's just how I am.
Understandable. Who wanna go next?
I can go.
Or Ren could go.
Ren, you can go ahead.
Go ahead, Ren.
Okay, so for favorite Devil Arm, I would say Agni and Rudra. Lots of combo potential, lots of cool special moves. I really like that you can just juggle enemies in the fucking air for a long ass time and really follow it up with like a ground, fire, wind, slash. For a Devil Arm I don't like, Navon, it doesn't have the combo potential that I really like. It's mostly for, if you want to be a little bit flashy in your combos, if you want to switch out, but it doesn't do any real like sort of pause combos or anything that's really super cool that you can do. So I really don't like Navon that much. As for favorite firearm, Blue Rolls is like really OP. And the fact that you could do the charge shot and shit like that, it can really put a lot of pressure on the enemies. As for least favorite firearm, I have to say Nightmare B, because using DT for that thing is just I don't like it. I prefer if it was separate or something to the effect of Artemis in DMC, where you could just use it whenever the fuck you want. So that is my answers done.
All right.
Okay, I could go now.
All right.
Go ahead. Don.
So for my favorite Devil Arm, I'm actually gonna go with something weird, and I would say that Lucifer from DMC4 is probably one of my favorites. I really enjoy using like the weird weapons in the series, especially like Navon, and I know that's like something that you guys definitely have criticisms for, which don't get me wrong, I definitely agree with the criticisms, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe in 5 we'll see that weapon return and have that weapons moveset bolstered, because it really needs to be expanded upon, especially with the new mode system that they have in 5.
Yeah, it's cool if you want to air raid, but anything else is blah to me.
Yeah, like if it was like in 5 where you could use the scythe aspect to it when you switch, and if it had like more moves to it, then I think it would be definitely something that people would love even more.
One cool scythe is actually the one used in Ninja Gaiden 2. If it was like that, I would be absolutely fucking hyped.
Yeah.
Oh, the Eclipse Scythe, I think.
Yes.
The Eclipse Scythe was so fun in Ninja Gaiden 2. That's I don't remember if we talked about Ninja Gaiden 2 on its own, but that would be a great discussion.
We did. We definitely did.
We? Yeah, I think we did the series discussion. But anyway, yeah, so Lucifer is one that I would go with because I really love using the weird weapons in Devil May Cry. The least favorite I would say would probably be really any of the swords from 2, because all it was just swords, you know. There was really nothing interesting per se other than they're just a sword. So it really didn't matter which one of those. Now, as far as guns are concerned, I think my most favorite would probably be Ebony and Ivory. I just enjoy using those a lot, and in a lot of the cases when I play like Devil May Cry 3, I generally like to have Ebony and Ivory and shotgun equipped. It's just my typical setup of what I use with Dante. Most disliked, and this is just kind of going off of DMC2 again, but while MP5 dual wielding MP5Ks are cool, I do think that they're kind of boring. So there's my answer.
All right, I'll go ahead next. I would say that I think my favorite Devil Arm, I think, is Alistair in 1. I sort of counts as a Devil Arm. I know it's kind of basically just a replacement, I think, for Forced Edge in that one, but it's my favorite Devil Arm. My least favorite, though, is actually Lucifer. I know, Dom, that's your favorite, and I actually really respect that. The reason it's my least favorite is I really do think they could have done more with it. It's a very complex weapon, but I also do think they could have done a bit more with it. I love it, don't get me wrong. I just think they could have done more of it.
It has a similar problem to Navan, where like if it had more of a moveset, then it would be loved by the general player base.
Yeah. Same as Cerberus. Cerberus lacks
some functionality that keeps it back.
And
so I definitely get that point. But
and favorite firearm, I gotta agree with Dom. Ebony and Ivory, man. I just love that. It looks like it's gonna probably get better with DMC5. But least favorite has to be Kalina on in DMC3. Personally, it only really helped me in one boss fight, and it was Arkham.
But, yeah, I was gonna say totally not Arkham.
Yeah, totally not Arkham, but it's really I can only think of one boss fight where I felt it was useful. So maybe that's just me. But yeah,
you said Kalina Ann, right?
Yeah.
I think Kalina Ann. Yeah, Kalina Ann is good for any situation. That's most damage out of the guns, good crowd control. It's literally useful for every situation you can think of.
But yeah, no, I understand that. It's just I don't like using it. It's just okay. But that's my answer.
I'm sorry, which gun was it? Because I had to step out for a second.
It was Kalina Ann.
Kalina Ann.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised no one said Pandora, because I would have been surprised if...
I love Pandora of Gunslinger in DMC4.
Yeah.
Okay, Jinx, did you can you talk now?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I guess I can say favorite and least favorite. Again, kind of one game experience. I keep repeating that all the time, but least favorite and favorite are generally the sword and Ebony and Ivory. I say this because, in regards to least favorite, is because Ebony and Ivory are kind of weak weapons at the time, but during which it can help you keep a combo going, and while inflicting a bit of damage there until you get near your opponent, so you can apply more combos with the sword, which I keep forgetting his name. Which then transfers to which transfers onto my next point regarding the sword being favorite and least favorite at the same time, because of how many combos you can do, how flashy it is with the double stinger, for example, And starting out, you are only limited by so much, so there's not like much usability within those combos. But as you play further and further, until you find better weapons that would suit your playstyle. But for now, the sword is like very useful, to say the least, and very diverse once you get a few upgrades in. And that's pretty much it. Can't say I have anything else regarding it.
Number 5, Devil May Cry has its fair share of side characters that have helped or worked with Dante along the way. In your opinion, which of these characters do you think should be expanded upon on both lore and gameplay? I would say Lucia, easily. I don't know if she's going to be in 5, but in case she isn't, yeah, please expand on her. She already had a backstory, but I feel like she could have been used more in another game, maybe. I'll just leave it at Lucia. I think most people would agree with me that she's underutilized.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go next real quick. Actually, from a lore standpoint, actually, I want the girl from the DMC2 novel to come back named Beryl.
Oh yeah,
Because I read up on the books like 3 times, and I just find the character very interesting. Fun fact: she was actually technically the first lady before Lady, because she had a anti-material rifle that will basically one-shot anything, and she has her own own type of silver bullets that are enhanced, I think, with magic. So yeah, she's definitely no joke. But it's a shame that she was only a one-time use, kind of like currently kind of like Lucia. Now, from a gameplay standpoint, I want them to expand upon more on Lady if she's playable, because there's so much potential she can have with different guns and whatnot. Same thing for Trish though, but Lady specifically though, because she's not like Dante and the rest of the characters that have demon blood or whatever. But for both standpoints, definitely be Lucia, because she's probably one of my favorite characters in the franchise. But it's a shame that she's not in other games, because first the games are prequels technically. So now we actually moving on past we can actually see more character development for other characters. And that's it.
Yeah, I would say Lucia is probably going to be a definite for me, just because like there's a lot of potential for her to grow as a character. Because just because she was put into one bad game doesn't necessarily mean that she should be just left out from the rest of the series. I think she really should get a second shot at becoming a better character both in gameplay and in lore. As far as gameplay though is concerned too, like I could definitely agree with like Lady and Trish. That could definitely be expanded upon. Although I do kind of want to see Trish like grow in power as well, because I actually want to see her go out of the whole aura-based DT and go into her true DT form, which is something we haven't seen in the games before. So that would be my answer, I think. So definitely like Lady, Lucia, and Trish.
All right, who's to go next?
I guess I'll go next.
You, I guess.
I gotta agree with Lucia from a lore standpoint. Well, I'd kind of like Kyrie to be expanded, honestly, in lore. I know you don't play as her, but I think it'd be really nice to get
Kyrie.
more.
Kyrie,
yeah. Sorry, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts a lot lately.
She's getting pleasure by Nero's DLC arm, so
yeah, I think Kyrie, it would be really, really nice to see her expanded upon both lore. Right? We might get it in DMC5, so it'd be nice to see. Gameplay wise, I'd kind of like Lady to be expanded on a bit more if she is to return. I'm not sure if we'll see Lucia, but it would be nice if Lady got a bit more gameplay.
All right, who's to go next?
I'm gonna skip because my answer is the same as everyone else's. So there you have
All
it.
right, makes sense.
Regarding the character that I would like to see expanded, Lady, to say the least. I really want to see how she would, how would her gameplay style be with rockets, something like that.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me go on. Are we set with the questions now? I mean, did everyone answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we can move on.
Number 6, my good sir.
Yep, that's my turn. Adi Shankar has recently announced that he had acquired the rights to work on a new Devil May Cry animated series. While the details of the new series is unknown, do you think this will be an adaptation of one of the games or a standalone series like the previous anime? Should I read the bullet point? Might as well. It should be noted that the previous anime is considered to be canon, given that we see a returning character as well as a character file in 5.
I just want to know as well, like, this has been confirmed canon, like, even way before 5 was even a thing, so people saying, like, the anime is now canon is actually retarded. Like, never mind.
I suppose, like, assume it might be a standalone series, because while it would be nice to have some lore explained within that was presented in the games, but it won't be presented within the series itself, or adaptation to say the least. So it's kind of a standalone, I feel. So it would make more sense regarding the whole thing as an aspect.
I think most people are confused about that whole bootleg universe Castlevania crossover thing. I just want to clarify, I don't think that is going to cross over with Castlevania. The reason I say that is because it seems like a director's motif. Adi Shankar has called that freaking not Transformers, but Power Rangers gritty reboot part of the bootleg universe. And we know that's not going to be in the same universe as Castlevania, so I just think that's like a stylistic choice to call it that because he worked on it. So I don't think it's going to cross over with Castlevania, and I think it's going to be probably a standalone series. Like, it's going to take place at some unspecified point, but I do think it might be canon to the OG timeline. It's
Could
just going to
just interject really quick.
Go ahead.
I think even if they were to cross over, the crossover itself would be in its own canon. It wouldn't be canon to the actual anime adaptations that are, if they're doing like retellings, kind of like Castlevania, or doing something standalone. I think that the crossover itself, if it were to happen at least, it would be like its own thing, like the events and how the characters meet up, or if they fight or anything like that.
Yeah, but
it just for that contained universe.
Yeah, but I don't think that's gonna happen, because even Shankar's channel is called Bootleg Universe, where he posts all of his stuff on YouTube. So I just think that's a director's motif, and it's not gonna have anything to do with Castlevania.
More than likely, it's just going to be a regular DMC anime, and it's going to be in the same kind of art style and stuff as Castlevania, probably the same tone.
Yeah, that's the most.
That seems to be his thing.
That's the most I'm expecting. Like, the least would be the actual crossover, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But if it does, it'll still be cool. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Now, as far as the anime is concerned, like this new series, because we don't really have a whole lot of information on it, it's kind of hard to say at the moment if this is just going to be an adaptation of like 3 going onward, or if it's going to be like a standalone thing like the previous anime. If they make it standalone and have it somewhat tie into the games, kind of like how we're seeing with 5, where one of the characters we know from the original anime is returning as a character in 5, and then there's another character that I'm not going to talk about because it pertains to leaks from 5, but there's a character file for them. So, and they kind of allude to some things, but they don't say anything concrete. But that being said, there's like those things in 5. So if they did something standalone that would maybe tie back to 5, that'd be cool. But if we go off of what Castlevania is doing, where it's just a retelling of one of the games, then I think it would make sense for us to see a Devil May Cry 3 adaptation. Which either way, I'd totally be down for. Because on the one hand, if it's a retelling of Devil May Cry 3, we get some more context for that game, and it would just make that the lore from 3 even more exciting to look back to. But if it's its own thing, then hopefully we get to see a more serious tone for Devil May Cry as far as an anime show is concerned, because the original animated series was not too serious. It didn't take itself seriously per se.
It was down the middle because you do have your moments like in episode 2 and 4 and whatnot. And then you have your other moments where Dante is just being Dante at his office. So it's definitely right down the middle. So it's a good 50-50.
Yeah.
Yo, I got one no one's going to say.
No, what?
I'd actually want something about DMC2 era Dante. I actually want more on him since he's the most mysterious incarnation of the character.
I actually agree with
he's
this.
He's also the most serious. I kind of want to see what the deal with that is.
I actually agree with this because if you look in the DMC2 novel, he's definitely has the same personality as one counterpart, but mixed in with his second one counterpart together.
See,
I don't know.
I'm glad you brought that up, James and Brandon, because like that would be something interesting too. If like, what if they brought in like the use like the novels as part of like inspiration for the adaptation?
I mean, it's not impossible because I mean, Warren Ellis, he did use a lot of material for Castlevania with Dracula's Curse, so and the show had a lot of that in there. So I think it's possible he could pull from it, but it depends on how deep he will go. I don't know, because some stuff is obviously going to get changed around.
Yeah, he definitely seems like the kind of guy to take his own liberties. Especially if you watch Castlevania, he's definitely taken a few.
Yeah, like we were missing a character in the anime because there were technically 4 characters fighting Dracula in Dracula's Curse.
You mean the pirate guy? Yeah, he's gone. It's not there. And also, I think one of the characters got like blackwashed or something in season 2.
Isaac. He's actually a white dude with red hair, but now he's a black guy.
Truth be told, though, his design is so much better in the anime because he's just like a usual white guy with different color hair. I'm like, I can live with this design.
Yeah, he's still a crazy, sadistic bastard, so...
Yeah.
One thing I think would be really interesting with the anime adaptation, and this, it's the least likely to happen of all of them, but it'd be interesting if he makes it, like, I know he's going to probably make it for the fans, but it'd be really interesting if it's set post DMC5, or maybe something with Nero, not focusing on Dante, but maybe doing something with Nero post DMC5, maybe.
I wouldn't mind this because, like, for example, the CGI Resident Evil movies, they love to set everything post the game. It's always a sequel to the events that happen in the games. Because I think like the recent example is Vendetta was like after RE6, like a year after or something like that. So I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, and
it is possible because the first anime is after Devil May Cry 1 in itself. So
yeah. And one of the reasons I say that is it would be really nice if, like, maybe, I know we're going to get it in DMC5, but it maybe flesh out all 3 characters, like, do it, like, all 3 of them could be there. All 3 of our protagonists in DMC5 could be there, maybe. Who knows what happens in DMC5, but if it's set post DMC5, give us more of all of them, and that'd be great. And, continue the story. And that'd be great. That's how I think it could go.
I could also do that with DMC, like post DMC4, and like a little bit post DMC2 with Nero, because there is a point in time where Nero lost track of Dante in the lore. So,
oh, you know what just hit me? I don't know. Speaking of Nero, it would be nice if we got like the Fortuna novel turned into an anime. Since there's a shitload of details in there that nobody talks about or that nobody addresses.
Yeah, actually bring in the canon bits from Fortuna novel, because some stuff is a canon, other stuff is not. Because
or like the fact that Virgil visits Fortuna. I'm like, hey, I like to see him in the anime. He's never been in an anime before.
Would have been there. And I just want to hear Dan talk again.
Okay, who didn't win for the question?
Oh, wait, one more thing I want to mention. If, just like for Netflix stuff and all this shit, if you're going to give like this DMC thing the green light, can it please be longer than 4 episodes? Don't make that mistake again.
I agree.
Because
Hopefully they go for 12.
yeah,
12 was for the original anime, so I was kind of hoping more than 12 then.
I don't
Dom
know
wants
if
a
it's,
whole Dom wants like a whole Dragon Ball Z level.
like
I'll fucking watch it.
I want more, but and I know like Castlevania is like super duper popular, and it was like proof of concept that they could do more when they got greenlit for season 3. But they just need to stop doing like the short list of episodes, because that kind of annoyed me with season 1.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what would be a good length of episodes that you'd feel would be
Just
nice
for one season, either 10
Yeah,
or
like the-
12.
I would say 12 to 13.
Oh, real quick though, I want a full length anime. Truth be told, like I want 24 episodes, that kind of shit. But go ahead, Jinx.
Yeah, that's the ideal dream, but I think like realistically it's going to be like 10 or 12.
I kind of want to like agree with Brandon here. Like I would want at least roughly about 24 to 30 episodes, just because I was so disappointed with the original anime only being 12 episodes.
I was sort of saying that, like, the reason I asked, like, what would be a good length is because we don't want something that's way too abrupt or way too drawn out. So I kind of asked that to find that sweet spot that won't fall on either side.
30 is like, in my opinion, almost 2 seasons.
Yeah, like if it was split to 2 seasons, fine. You know, that's whatever. But I just think that like 12 episodes, you know, and only getting 1 season is just way too short.
I mean, JoJo gets like 39 episodes in a season, so I mean, it's possible.
The only thing that is the equalizer here is we're talking about Netflix, and the way they handle shows is kind of retarded. So
That is true. Hi, Daredevil.
yes.
I know it's too soon.
But
I would say by Netflix's standards, if we were lucky, we would get 8. But if they wanted to be more confident and make it like a regular Netflix show, I would say 1 season should equal 12 or 13 episodes.
I think that's fair.
I'm just trying to think like realistically how would Netflix handle this.
No, realistically speaking, they would cancel it. I'm just kidding.
No, everyone be
okay.
fucking mad.
Hi, Jessica Jones.
You're fired.
She's still alive. She's still alive.
Hi, Punisher.
Temporarily.
Hi, Frank Castle.
I'm only saying that because like all the shows we watch on Netflix, like all the Marvel shit, is always like 12 or 13 episodes.
I'm pretty sure most Netflix shows is around that length too. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but when they get
their
multiple,
average.
yeah, but when they get multiple seasons, it's like okay, you get up to like you know the amount that you would want anyway because there's multiple seasons, right?
indeed.
So and same thing with like Castlevania, right? Like yeah, it started out at 4, but then they doubled the amount and had it at 8, right? So you know it's like one of those things where if they keep renewing it for more seasons and they keep either increasing it or keeping it at a certain amount, then it's kind of okay if they leave it at that certain amount because you know you're going to get that next season so long as Netflix doesn't axe the show.
Well, for that logic, all I can say is one can only hope, because again, this is something that a lot of people are looking forward to, so you're going to want to have enough episodes there. And plus, there's already like an anime out of DMC that people were kind of mixed about. So they're going to want quality for sure.
They'll learn from the mistakes of the last anime.
Hopefully. I think they will.
Yeah, because they're not going to have a guy who makes fucking anime about lollies. going around.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, next question.
Yes, next question.
Not those kind of lollies. I'm just saying, like, in general, they're just, you know, lollies that do, like, idol shit or, like, play tennis. It's
How
really
do we get
He likes it.
I don't know actually. I zoned out for a second.
Shut up.
I'm just saying, it's the same guy that made Berserk 2016. That's what his specialty is making
Oh,
anime
God.
about lollies.
Man, hold up. This ain't Adi is not. I forgot. I don't even know the.
Yeah, Adi Shankar is not trash.
Yeah.
He's weird.
I only know him from the Power Rangers Dark universe or whatever he calls
Yeah,
it.
that's how I first noticed his work. It was from Power Rangers.
Well-
How controversial that was.
He does love wearing face paint in interviews, so I guess maybe you can kind of see that as weird. But
Are you a Thanos fan?
Oh, you're a Virgil fan. Do you like Thanos?
Hey, her reaction was priceless though. But let's move on to next question. Who's read number 7?
I could read number 7.
Go right
if
ahead.
Dante were to be replaced permanently, do you think Nero would take the main character spotlight from 6 onward, assuming there's a DMC 6, or do you think a new character altogether would fill in this role? In my opinion,
Okay.
and I don't mean to cut you off, Brandon, but in my opinion, I wouldn't want it to be Nero just because Nero does not play like Dante. He's not as in depth as Dante. If anything, after a certain point, I would kind of want them to do a bit of a callback to Devil May Cry 1, where Dante taunts Mundus right before he seals him away, saying that that his son, that he should send his regards to Dante's son in the future, assuming that Dante would have a son in a future game, and I think that this character should, maybe play very similarly or be as in-depth as Dante, because the thing is that if you replace Dante, the character that replaces him has to be just as in-depth as him. Otherwise, Devil May Cry might not even have the same standards that it set from 3 onward.
I definitely agree with that because I'm gonna use Tomb Raider as an example though. Imagine replacing Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. You know how bad that would be. Granted, yeah, let's say the character is really good and all that stuff, right? The icon for that series is Lara Croft, not this rando. The same situation with Devil May Cry. Dante is the star. No, he not the like movie star, but like literally the thing people will recognize the brand for. Take away what makes the brand recognizable, then you will have what identity would the series have, Now, eventually speaking, yes, I do agree the characters should retire though, but they should retire all the characters that were in the current state and pass the torch on to whatever other generation that could be just as likable and depth as the previous ones. Not just get rid of one, but actually do what you can to actually make sure the new characters can not just conclude, but make sure the new characters can actually take on that legacy and actually go on without them. Now, let's take Mortal Kombat, for example. They're doing the best they can to include old and new. But at some point, you will eventually need to fade out the old and fit into new.
Aside from Scorpion, because we know they're never going to get rid of Scorpion.
They hit him and Sub-Zero. You're not going to get rid of those 2 characters. They're the icons. Same thing for Street Fighter. You can't get rid of Ryu. You can. That's impossible.
I don't think you'd be able to get rid of some of the cast in MK, actually. Thinking about Raiden and Liu Kang and shit like that.
Well, Liu Kang's a different story.
Well, yeah, I mean, he died and became a fucking zombie at one point, so I don't know.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. They actually did replace Liu Kang because he was the star as well for MK 1, 2, and 3, I believe. 4, I'm not sure, because who cares about 4? And Deadly Alliance, which is number 5, they killed his ass off. He was done until
Armageddon.
until the PSP version actually of Deception, where he's became a playable character, and then Armageddon. So yeah, no, they got rid of his ass and bring in new characters, which is fun and dandy. Eventually, they bring him back though, but not the versions you wanted.
Right.
On the subject of DMC though, and character replacements, I agree with you guys. However, I know Itsuno's really pushing Nero. I genuinely think it's going to be Nero. He's already kind of doing it in 5, where Dante's not even the main dude anymore. That's
kind of the thing that's actually irritating me though, because he's keep forcing Nero rather than being a natural process.
If he gets good, character progression, which is from what we've, discussed behind the scenes, it seems that way. I will be okay with it. I would say this. Do not take Dante out of the series, but if you make him a sideline-ish character now, I don't think people will be as annoyed if he was just flat out gone.
I think a better way to phrase it is him being like a mentor. Like, say, for example, in Street Fighter's case, he'll be the Goken of the lore because he's trained Ryu Ken. He's like the sideline type of guy.
I agree with mentorship, but I don't agree with it being him. If depending on what goes on with Virgie Boy, I kind of want him to mentor Nero, at least on the demonic side of things.
Nothing screams mentor than having your arm ripped off.
I just think that if they're gonna have it be Nero, though, then Nero has to be as in depth as Dante, and that would mean having to lose, the manual revving and changing up the way that his arms work again.
Wait, why does he have to lose?
Wait, you talking about gameplay perspective? We talking about from a lore perspective.
I'm talking gameplay too, because gameplay wise, I would rather Nero have multiple like devil arms and firearms than too, because it's that's something that makes Dante unique.
I agree. That would be the next. That would be the next step. I don't see this removing like manual revving. Like that would just become a Red Queen thing.
Well, I mean, I'm saying that as if they're gonna, if they keep it, they can change the inputs for it, sure. But I mean, speaking from a perspective of we have to replace Dante at this point because we can't just keep using him anymore because he's too old or something like that, or we've already concluded his story. He can't really continue on from here on out. Then they would have to put him on I guess on a similar scale to Dante as far as gameplay is concerned. So they would have to change him up significantly. Not to the point where he's unrecognizable, but more so to the point where he kind of feels like a hybrid of what he is now and what Dante currently is.
I think for the sake of keeping the argument simple, I think we'll keep it just to character and lore and keep the gameplay out because we'll be here all day talking about this whole thing.
Well, I mean, it's very simple. Just keep the older characters around if you continue on to make other sequels, but put new characters as the forefront so things are still fresh. I mean, Nero already opened up his own devil hunting business, so I mean, suffice to say, who can say that can't happen for anyone else?
Oh yeah, Dante gave him keys to basically run a mobile Democratic operation while Dante runs the headquarters.
Yeah, he's kind of has expanded the business now. He has a mobile and now he has a home base kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe try something different. Maybe make a kick-ass human who gets demon powers or something. I mean, it's very possible. Who knows?
One thing. V.
I mean, something still tells me that V has some demonic blood in him, but and I think he might become full demon. Who knows?
I think one thing we will probably see, at least hopefully see. I'm thinking they're probably going to. This might be kind of like a passing of the torch thing with DMC5. But they're gonna keep Dante as they're always gonna want a technical character, and since Dante's kind of their face of the franchise, I think they're always gonna keep him maybe kind of in a more reduced role as others have stated. I think the best way I could describe it, and this is a really weird way of probably describing it, is I think they're always gonna kind of keep this Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker kind of relationship. I'm not saying Nero's gonna go evil, but I'm just saying kind of that kind of relationship where one of them's always gonna be more experienced than the other. And they're gonna kind of grow off of one another over time.
Or maybe they could do a villain. I mean, who knows? A lot of people, they liked Virgil turning into the anti-hero, so I mean
that would be interesting if Nero kind of over the course of these games kind of did a kind of became a villain. That'd be kind of interesting. Or Dante even. I think that would be really kind of cool.
I swear that happened for DMC4 for Dante.
In DMC4, he was a bait and switch villain.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of neat if they actually made him a villain.
He was intimidating. That whole cutscene, I shit myself.
But yeah, no, I think that'd be kind of really cool if they kind of kept this mentor relationship. But Dante's always going to be above Nero, I think, in power. But it would be kind of cool if they learn to grow from one another and they showcase that in future games.
Yeah, all Capcom has to do is the whole KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. We're in it to see demons die, and we want to see it done in a variety of ways. So just keep the devil hunting business open and make DMC a meta series, and I think we'll be good to go. Just don't disrespect the old, and don't make jokes about white hair and wigs.
To me, may cry.
One last thing I think I will say is I think we might see it stay as 3 characters from now on. I think we're gonna see one for like newcomers, one for intermediate, and one for like highly
advanced.
technical. Yeah. I think we'll always see that.
I think that should be the standard, multiple characters.
Yeah, I mean, we've had that as a standard since technically since 2, but 3 special edition really pushed that, and then 4 SE as well. And I like, because I think too, like with 5 we'll possibly see also DLC characters, because I think they want to try to stray away from doing special edition again, where it's just, oh hey, here's Virgil and here's a beginning and ending cutscene. Because I think people are starting to really get tired of that, so they might start doing like special edition as like a complete edition that includes like the extra characters that were possibly DLC with their own story missions and stuff like that.
Anything else for number 7, by the way? Or are we good?
I think we're good.
No, that was. Oh yeah, that was number 7.
Yep.
Other than that, no, I do think that if they were to include a new character, they maybe like fill in the role or be as in depth as Dante. Definitely like a descendant, like his son or something like that, if you were to ever have a son. Anyway, I could read on number 8 since Brandon said he'll be right back. Do you think a Sparta-centered prequel, otherwise Devil May Cry 0, is something that should be made?
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that there's a very big missed opportunity to explore on Sparta, because I think the biggest problem with Sparta is that we already know that he saved the world, and we already know the legend because we've heard it in pretty much all of the games. I think for a lot of fans, it's just a matter of seeing how he did it, seeing what made him
see the legend himself.
Yeah, like see how the character was, see what made him actually decide to side with humans and betray his demon brethren and stuff like that, and really expand on the character.
It also, actually, a lot of people don't think about this, that would also give us a chance to see more about Mundus. Like, because we don't get that much of his character. Basically, in DMC 1, we get portrayed that he's just a giant asshole. He's extremely despicable, he's evil, and we have to stop him. But we don't get much character development out of him other than that he's evil. That's all we know.
I think it would be kind of really cool to see Sparta awake to justice. Yeah, that'd be actually radical. And again, it would be kind of neat, again, as to what James said. I think seeing Mundus maybe expand them. Didn't they kind of have a rivalry, the two of them? A lot of DMC bosses kind of had a pet beef with Sparta, if I recall correctly. I know
they only developed the beef because he betrayed them, and he was a general, or like one of Mundus's demon generals. So they were fine with him up until he screwed everybody over.
So it'd be kind of neat to see those guys again in a prequel, more than just this.
There's also the two
Ball and Modius.
Yeah, Ball and Modius. Those two characters, they've only been shown in the anime, but he actually trained those two characters, and they were pit against each other because they felt differently about what Sparta was doing. They have a very similar way of or they have very similar motives to Dante and Virgil and 3, in my opinion, when you look into their backstory.
Yeah.
For DMC 0 or whatever title they want to call it, for Sparta, they definitely do got to bring in the enemies from Devil May Cry 3, because those guys, the lore behind 3 in particular, really is really important, because Sparta did a lot of shit with the Tim Negru. And also, fast forward a little bit to Argosex, Sparta sealed him away as well after Mundus was sealed off.
I would presume. Go ahead.
So they definitely need to include all the background stuff that involves Sparta, like how he became basically the pastor of Fortuna, how he did this and how he did that and all that nonsense.
Yeah,
As a future reference, let's let Navon actually like flirt with Sparta because that'd be funny to see.
You just want to see some pornography.
look, I don't
Sure,
want to
why
see
not?
no grasshopper on redheaded stepchild action.
Why not?
It's a cockroach, okay? That's the difference.
Yeah,
Is
why
he?
not?
Did they actually confirm what kind of bug he is?
No, he's just like a cockroach. He has the wings and the head thing.
Ornament.
similar to a cockroach.
It's the wings. Kinda.
That's like such the oddest image to see, like Sparta all over fucking Navon.
That's man. I presume the end of the game should be he seals himself in Tem and DeGru, and that's the end. I would assume.
He doesn't sell himself; he sells his power.
Yeah.
Well,
he
you know what I
uses
mean.
his powers
I
to
assume we'll get. One thing I want Zero to do is show a lot of things that we would never see with him. Like, I don't know, things with the legend that are like maybe some of the things in the legend are exaggerated or told incorrectly.
Like
Things
with
like
Fortuna, with Fortuna, you know, like what's his involvement with that shit?
I want, now that you say that, I want there to be like a Fortuna stage, and when people are going around praising him, I want to know his inner thoughts. Like, what is this shit? Like, I want that to happen, because it seems like that's such a over exaggerated thing they do in DMC4.
Oh, that the humans praise him to high hell.
Oh,
Yeah, they
wait,
praise him
that-
so much, and he really probably doesn't even want it.
That shit reminds me, dog. This is one thing we need to know. The most important thing, Eva.
I was gonna say that too.
Eva, like
She'll be a
what's,
given.
what's
That's
her
how-
connection to Sparta? Like, how did she bang the bug? Like, we need to know.
How does she bang?
How did she bang the bug? I'm done.
Look,
Did she bait him?
look.
Brandon wants like this. Brandon wants this slow fade out scene where he gets on the bed and then the camera scrolls up and then you hear the DT sound effect.
See, I was gonna say that it's kind of like my thought of like Dragon Ball. Do these characters ask them to go into the like form, like their most powerful form while in the bedroom? Like I'm just saying, like.
This is the part of the podcast where we
I'm just
put
saying,
on the
like-
DMC5 theme of Devil Trigger, and it's like super slow. It's like the pre-order theme.
PS4 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Renegade. I'm glad you mentioned that.
You better edit that in.
I will.
No.
I will do it.
I got one
It's
thing
happening.
I got one thing I gotta say. Do you think Eva asked Sparta to fornicate thou?
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, they would talk differently.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago, they're gonna have super like old medieval knight dialogue. Sparta's
you
gonna
seen
sound like a
Sparta?
white knight.
Have you seen Sparta's like Dante's Sparta costume? I'm just picturing him with a thick British accent.
It's like, my lady, would you like to ride thy steed?
Would you like would you like to ride the cockroach?
I completely forgot about that they would talk differently than like Dante and everybody else does in modern day.
Okay. I thought of something funny when Harold mentioned bait, but I want to save that for later.
Oh no.
I was gonna ask her really quick before I had somebody run into my room all of a sudden. Wasn't there a thing where like initially she hated Sparta?
I don't know.
Also, she was a tsundere. I see where this is going.
Dom, we have no knowledge of Eva's like personality outside of that she loved Dante and Virgil and Sparta. That's it. Like we know nothing about her outside of she's a good wife apparently.
Yeah, best
I
housewife.
mean, I'm willing to bet that if anything, they're probably gonna have it set up where it's the legend first, and then after the legend, like many years later, Sparta lived on, and he met Eva that way.
You'll be a fucked up plot twist. You'll be fucked up plot twist. He's alive. They like reveal that all this shit didn't like the things that we think happened didn't happen. He's like hiding or some weird shit. Give me the
Sipping
plot.
drinks.
Hit me with the plot. Like, maybe he's disguised as someone else now. Give me the plot twist.
That would be actually really cool. See if
Did
he
they
actually
ever
was hiding.
Be
They ever
fucked
say
up if
he's
he
dead?
knows.
No,
No.
they keep saying that Sparta is dead though, but imagine a plot twist where he's
Dead
actually
or
alive.
sealed away. Either one. Or he sealed himself away. Basically,
He's sipping drinks on a beach somewhere.
he's watching Dante the whole time.
Like Dante the DMC4 opening, but Sparta just faintly in the distance.
I'd be more terrified of seeing Virgil's reaction to that. Nigga would be fucked up 6 rays from Sunday hearing that.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless I can say something before I head out.
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm really interested in the whole prequel thing because, like, there were probably a lot of questions that were kind of set up, but not explained, like DMC1 or otherwise. So it's an interesting idea to have a prequel to the series entirely and have those questions answered, like, why would he go to this castle? Why, like, who is this individual or that? Because there has always been mentions of certain characters in lore, but they've never been revealed within the first towards the current iteration of the series. So I suppose I'm all for it, really. And I hope it really given a chance rather than just presented in some other form of media. With that being said, before the next question, heading out. Thank you for having me and have a good night.
It's good having you, dude.
Likewise.
Peace out, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Peace.
All right. Nice to have you on, Jinx. So, yeah. All right, I'll read number 9. To follow up with the last question, do you think Capcom should also work on spin-offs and remakes for the series? Spin-offs for like dedicated characters or games or whatever other shit.
And to the remake side of things, absolutely fix 2.
Nah, not just 2, the first one as well, because that game needs a lore update.
Yeah, that is true.
You know what's probably going to happen? If they remade 1, I doubt Dante will use. I think he'll have Force Edge, but I don't know how he would have Rebellion then.
He puts Rebellion away for Force Edge.
I guess. It's gonna be a weird one.
Yes, I mean, if anything though, for like gameplay purposes, maybe Rebellion could be unlocked and it could be a very powerful weapon outside of Spiral itself.
Or they could pull a DMC3 and just give you a DMC3 costume that gives you Rebellion.
Yeah, that too. But for story standpoint, yeah, he just uses Force Edge the whole time. But the question is though, how is Devil Trigger looking in Democrat 1? Because remember, I don't know why there's a thing though, but the initial concept for Devil Trigger is based on what weapon you're using though, you get that particular form of Devil Trigger rather than him having it naturally for the most part. So thank God for 2 for that one, right?
What if they did like a DMC like remake collection similar to like how Spyro and Crash have been doing it? With DMC 1, 2, and
that's about to cost like $200, my nigga.
I mean, hey man, I pay it.
That would be great, but at the same time though,
costly.
It's not just costly though. How are they gonna like? What are they gonna do for like story or whatever? Like, there's a lot of factors you gotta put into it because it's not that simple as like Crash and Spyro because they had the same core story.
But it's like a remake, but they're fixing things.
There's a problem with that idea in that, like, with Crash and Spyro, they didn't really have to change a whole lot, other than graphics and some gameplay mechanics.
You need to change everything about DMC2.
DMC1's problem is that because it was not anticipating a prequel as well as 2 other sequels that continue the story, it has to fix itself to fit along with the lore that was set up in 3. You could, and I've talked a little bit about this is probably going to be my most lengthy answer, but with DMC3, you don't necessarily have to remake that game because the lore onward from 3 is set up that way. So everything, the way that it's set up currently, is set up from 3 onward. So a remake for 1 has to follow what 3 set up. Not to mention too that with gameplay, like Brandon was saying, you would have to set it up to similar to what is up to standard now, which is what 5 is doing.
I honestly think that because, like I said, I thought that DMC2 was just boring gameplay wise. I can tolerate 1 to some of the extent, but there are a lot of dated segments that could use some updating, like the first person water gun segment that could be sort of rearranged to be a little bit more fun. And yeah, there could be they could just take that out, you swim right through and it's over.
Holy hot damn.
What?
Apparently I was reading the Reddit while you guys were going on. Apparently, they may have found Kyrie's model or actor or whatever.
Nah, I will take a look at that later. Oh.
Okay then.
Oh, saved.
Oh, okay.
I would eat a bowl of Fruit Loops out of her vagina.
Hey, whoa. hey. You want the YouTube police after you?
Hey, I mean,
Yeah, apparently that might be
all you
Kyrie.
black folk could take all these white girls. I'm good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, Dom. We'll take him.
That's fine.
It's okay, Dom. You have me.
But yeah, that apparently might be that might be Kyrie.
Let's
Jokes,
say that.
sexual jokes aside, the model does look good for Kyrie because Kyrie is supposed to look like a very young, attractive girl. So
What? Ooh.
You're about to devil bust that.
All right, let's get back on topic. Let's say that for later.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think we're all in agreement on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do need to fix 1, 2, 3 is. I like 3.
Three's
but you could
pretty,
do-
three's pretty solid if they wanted to add. The only thing I would say you need to do is add Virgil having his own legitimate story instead
same
of just
thing
a
for
cutscene.
Lady.
Fix,
Same thing for Lady.
fix
Lady was
Virgil's,
originally supposed to have a story too in 3 SE.
fix
Also,
Virgil's
Brandon, get the
moveset
fuck outta
too.
here.
Virgil's moveset needs to be expanded upon.
We did
That
it
would
called
help.
4.
Yeah, just copy and paste him from 4 and put him in a remake of 3 and he'll be perfect.
Although, legit, please get rid of freaking concentration meter because it is
It's-
flawed.
It's to me it's broken. It's
Yeah,
really fucking
It's
broken.
way too
Get
flawed.
rid of sword tricking because sword tricking sucks ass, and I hate not being able to trick down without DT.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's like I could live without concentration, but I think it's personally broken.
No, I do have to ask, just because I don't mean to cut you off, but I know we're on a bit of a time limit here. But spin-offs, like if they were to do a spin-off title dedicated for any of the other characters, whether it be from like manga, anime, novels, or even some of the other games that we've seen, who would you think would be the best choice for that?
Virgil.
Actually, this will be a good time to actually spend on the other characters rather than relying on like the main line, like the numbered series. Like this would be a good time to expand like other tidbits like what they've been doing. Like for example, let's look at Lady. Like what was she doing from Democrat 3, post MC3, all the way down to Democrat the anime? Because for starters, being that it's a prequel, a forced prequel technically, where was Lady at? Because she didn't beat Trish at all during between A and B. So where was she? So that would be a good way to either video game, manga, anime, whatever, to explain like her side of the things.
Put V in some action RPG with Cloud Strife or something. There you go. Make it crawl.
Shut up.
The
Final Fantasy 16 featuring V from the Devil May Cry series.
I mean,
I agree.
that's what everyone has been saying. He's like an RPG character with all the shit going on with him.
I agree with Brandon about Lady, but obviously, of course, I'm going to say Virgil. It's kind of weird. We didn't know barely anything about Virgil compared to Dante when he's, his fucking brother. I feel like it's kind of important to expand on the other side of the family a little bit.
Yeah, because most of his lore comes from the
manga.
and the game itself, and that's basically it minus 4SE.
Yeah, we don't. There's people like him, but there's not a lot about him that we know outside of 3 in the manga. There's a lot of, character developments we haven't really gotten a chance to see, so I kind of want to see that from him as well as whatever Lady's been up to.
Hey,
I would like to know what Trish was doing after she left Devil May Cry, or rather, Devils Never Cry, when they changed the name.
Please retcon.
Please retcon that. Retcon that.
they could call this game Devil May Cry Chronicles.
I would want to know like what that character was doing after she left before she came back in the anime.
Wait, didn't she say she was doing her own demon hunting thing on her own?
Yeah, so I just want to know like what she was doing when she was on her own.
Killing demons.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but like we don't know what kind. Was she like doing the same shit Dante was and looking for like higher demons and shit like that, or what?
The kind
Smoking electricity joint.
well, according to DMC5, maybe the kind that have like ball sack shaped heads. Who knows?
So the bug nigga.
Yep.
Sparta looking fellas.
Oh, also too, like I would kind of want to know what Lucia did after DMC2.
Oh, that's right.
Here's another one.
Yeah, because we saw her drop the coin and just ran off. Like, where'd she go? No, come back.
For all we know, she could have ran into Nero at the end, and chances are that might actually be the case now.
Wait, how?
Because at the end, we don't know who arrives at Devil May Cry. We don't know if it's Nero or if it's Dante.
Are we gonna retcon the motorcycle and make it the van?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, although that would be hilarious, no. What I'm saying is that at the end of Devil May Cry 2, we don't know. We just hear a motorcycle outside of the shop.
Actually, Dom, you reminded me. They could actually expand upon the Guardians, because she's a part of that guild. Because they worked with Spire to seal away Argosex.
The V de Marley. I can't even say the name right.
Vida Martyri. Yeah, those guys, like they definitely actually could expand upon those guys and have Lucia be the main lead for whatever medium they chose to go with. Because I feel like they could be just as interesting as anything else. Because they're also another group that's Shrouded in Mystery next to the Order.
Yeah, and that could also introduce some new characters as well.
Mm-hmm. And give us more context behind Monty here, because apparently she's a demon half-breed as well.
Now you make me want to see Sparta's little war, but they're helping him.
That'd be radical. Could do a Devil May Cry Chronicles. Get all these characters together.
Hey, man.
Actually, this would give us a chance to see Argo stacked in a way.
Yeah.
Yep.
They help Sparta fuck him up, basically.
And also explain why he's an amalgamation of different demons that were killed throughout your adventures. Like, what's the reason behind that? Like, we need to know.
And soon as gonna be like, I don't know, we just threw some shit together and it became a ball of shit.
Wise to spare the embodied hermaphrodite.
I want to bet that's supposed to be like a reference to Adam and Eve. I would not be surprised.
Probably.
Oh, what would be another thing? If they redid DMC2, they could fix Arya to make him not a stupid villain.
Well, at least get rid of voice crack.
That has to stay.
Look, if there's one thing that needs to stay in DMC2, it's the king. Yeah, here's your crown line, and also the end cutscene after you beat Despair the Embodied, where like Dante disappears for a few seconds, and then like headshots Despair the Embodied.
That was a badass cutscene. And here's a fun fact though: the music in the background is called Jackpot. So yeah, Jackpot was in Democrat too. So hold it. Just kidding.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think we're done with this question, correct? Unless you got anything else said.
I assume we are.
All I will say is I think spin-off games of the DMC universe would be awesome. That's all I will say.
No, I can't really think of any spin-off in particular that I want outside of the ones that's been listed.
Look at that, man. He has a monkey underneath him.
Okay,
Damn,
then.
poor friend.
All right, then.
Okay, number 10, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Who wants to read that one off?
I'll read it. I haven't read a question in a while.
Go right ahead.
You said number 10, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Devil May Cry 5 seems to have a lot of callbacks and references to the series' long history within the game's extended lore. Based on what has officially been shown off so far and discussed in public, what has been your favorite reference or callback so far?
Can I go first?
Oh yeah, go right ahead, man.
Yeah, it's two things. For starters, one was actually the scissors. That was probably my favorite one because it was like out of left field. You don't expect that to happen in the trailer, right? But
Yeah.
that or just V's demons. Like he's using enemies from Democrat 1. But, yeah, I feel like those are probably my favorite throwbacks.
As far as enemies are concerned, I really like the Hells coming back, and I'm gonna have to agree with Brandon, like the Sin Scissors returning. That's really cool. But as far as like extended lore stuff, I really like that Morrison made a comeback. There's another anime character that is referenced, which I mentioned earlier, but that pertains to leaks, which I don't want to spoil. But yeah, that was really cool to see Morrison come back. And then also too, in Dante's office, you actually see that he kept the map from the island from 2 with the dagger. So and it's just hanging there in the background in the office. So I really like those little like nods and attention to detail for the game, and I'm hoping we see like even more of that stuff in the coming months as well.
I like all of that, and the Cerberus callback from DMC3. How he, the puppy joke.
Come on, puppy, let's go.
The callback in one of Nero's taunts where he goes scum, and he kind of puts out this like inflection. Pretty sure that's a callback to, I think, Virgil.
That's in 4 as well.
Yeah, a lot of Nero's sayings and taunts, like the things he says, a lot of them are the same as Virgil. Like he says, "Be gone."
Yeah.
Things like that.
All that is from Devil May Cry 3. Most of the lines are from 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of his
I just really like that.
Virgil.
I also, I think, wasn't there kind of a call that there's been a lot of callbacks in the trailers I've been really, really enjoying. I'm sure by the time the game comes out, there will be more callbacks and trailers that we can fanboy over. The Nero taunt is my favorite.
The one, slightly off topic though, but for Nero taunts, the one that caught me off guard was his Triple S taunt saying, "Okay, this may be fun." I'm like, that took me by surprise. I'm like, wait, who says that line again? And then
another Virgil line.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, no.
But you know what Virgil doesn't say? Yeah, baby, make love to the camera.
I like that.
Like his best fucking taunt in 5.
They said they made him more. He's matured. I'm like, no, he's still a little punk ass. He hasn't changed. He's still a punk.
Yeah, he's still Nero, the piece of shit that we all love.
Kind of.
On a side note, it's kind of or off topic, I should say. It's kind of funny. Part of Nero becoming more accepted by people was the stupid reboot. As soon as people see that game, they were like, "All right, we'll take Nero."
Wait, hold on thought for a second. Is that a question actually, in Doc? Like how DMC influenced the series?
Is it?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking it. Is that a particular question? Because I'm glad you brought that up, James.
No. I don't think it is.
Oh, I guess we can make this little side tangent. Isn't it funny how people were with Nero until the reboot? Now all of a sudden they love him to death.
Yeah, because I was the same thing. Like I don't like him. I didn't like him, and then when the reboot came, I'm like, he's not too bad, but he's still got room for improvement. It's amazing, the saying like, enjoy what you got or whatever. That's so much truth when it comes to like Devil May Cry 4 and with DMC. People hated Nero, and then we got DMC. Wait, worse characters.
When they give you a game at like 30 FPS and no lock on and a story about demons being affected by soda and slurm, then yeah, you're gonna want that old DMC back.
Oh, another thing, I like that Nero took reboot Dante's look and made it not look stupid. Even his hair, everything about him is Dante done correctly.
Someone said he looks more like the Scalebound guy Drew than emo Dante.
It's just his hair.
Yeah, but if you put them side by side, they almost look exactly alike hairstyle wise.
Funny, actually, the joke behind that is that the Scalebound guy found a new job, and somebody posted a picture of DMC5 Nero.
Somebody pointed out, if you look at Nero's face, he actually is looking more and more like Virgil. That's not. I thought I was seeing things, but no, his face is almost exactly like Virgil. If there was a side by side comparison, I have to find it, but yeah, they are making him look more like his father, which I actually think is good.
I think two people took DMC5 Nero's hair and put it on Virgil just to show what it would look like if he did have short hair.
He looks almost like him.
Yeah, and he looks almost identical.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. And it looks really, really good. The guy did an excellent job on that one. In Nero's new design, I actually really like his new design. It helps separate him from Dante. which kind of like when I was originally getting into the series, I was like, yeah, that's the Dante guy. No, he wasn't.
It's ironic that people are saying that, but now the dude looks like Virgil, so I'm like, the man can't win for losing.
Man, Steve, that.
I told you.
Yeah, see? Yeah, he does look him.
Yeah, people were. I remember people were comparing the Scalebound guy to Nero as well because of his arm.
Yeah, he has a dragon arm versus the Delverbringer. Haha. Now we need a God Hand to be in the mix of this.
Oh, I found it.
Sell it to Capcom. Sell the IP. Put it on PS4, and I'll give you all of my money.
There it is. I found it. That's just the thing I saw earlier.
Yeah, there's actually one before
that
with
too.
their other renders. Well, DMC4 render and the one with Nero has blue rose out. That's the one I thought you were talking about, not this one. But yeah, I did see this one earlier. Yeah, I did see this one earlier, and yeah,
the resemblance is kind of. Yeah, I would say the resemblance is kind of disturbing.
Like,
That's
yeah,
even worse, actually. Jesus Christ.
yeah, you see that kid? I took his arm. Good times.
Family bonding.
Yeah, that's the one, Renegade. That's the one.
Listen, Nero will be less of a bitch for it by the end.
It was to make him a stronger man.
Stronger man. He has no arm.
He failed No Nut November.
Damn.
That was his punishment.
Okay.
Move on to number 11 now.
I could take number 11.
Go ahead.
Is there a devil arm that you think could have been done better or improved upon? And I think
Navon!
I think this is a question dedicated towards like DMC5, just based off of how we've seen like Cerberus make a comeback and how we've seen like Sparta make a comeback, and they've been like overhauled. And same thing with like Kalina Ann.
Do you mind if I start this one off? I genuinely, this is calling back to what I mentioned earlier. But I know, isn't like the Lucifer Rose probably going to be a taunt?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I would really like Lucifer to come back and be improved on. They could do more with that, and you could feel it in DMC4. Like when you used Lucifer, you could feel that more could be done there. And
you know what? I'm glad you say that, because in my opinion, though, I think they should bring back the tentacle weapons from the previous games. Like, for example, bring back like Nightmare Beta from 1. Like, well, we haven't much to do, so I'll slash that one. For 3, bring back Artemis, Vaughn, bring back
please bring back Vaughn.
Agni Ruja, those weapons. And then for 4, of course, bring back Lucifer. And I think they should definitely bring back Pandora and Gilgamesh. Because I think they could definitely do something different with the whole concept of him shaking the earth and whatnot.
Yeah, Gilgamesh is extremely uninteresting as a gauntlet weapon, because it's supposed to have this metal motif, but it's just a crappy version of Beowulf at the end of the day.
It looks so cool though, but I think in 5 though they could definitely do more of the execution.
Yeah, why can't I go ahead?
I was going to say the problem with the weapons in 4 was that originally they were going to go for this concept that they're sort of applying to 5, where the weapons were all kind of part of Pandora, where they were literally just one weapon. And when you switch, they like melted into each other and became that new weapon. So that's why DMC5, we have like this new like weapons switch system thing that they have going on, where like Cavalier can split into like 2 saws instead of being a bike, or Cerberus can become a bow staff instead of nunchucks, or things of that nature. And I think if they were to bring back something like Lucifer, they could maybe look at like DMC2 with like the Majin form and how Dante had like the laser swords, and just kind of have like a different type of weapon like that, or like for maybe Gilgamesh, different types of aerial attacks and a different fighting style compared to what Balrog has. Same thing with like Beowulf, if they decided to bring that weapon back, or Ifrit. So there's a lot of potential to bring these weapons back and really work on what they're able to do.
And one thing I'd like to see is even the weapons that haven't expanded upon, expand them some more, make them bigger, I guess. We're kind of seeing that. I think Red Queen's getting some new combos, stuff like that.
No, it has the same combos.
I thought Nero was getting some new technical moves, like with Red Queen. That's what I was more or
No,
less talking about.
most of them are still the same from 4. The only thing that's particularly different is he has a dive kick now.
Okay, well, I'd like to see more of our weapons expanded upon, even Rebellion. Just some new things instead of just recycling it from the other ones.
That's the complaint I actually have so far about 5 is for like the like basic weapons like Rebellion and Red Queen, like they're not that different from the 4 counterpart.
So far.
Yeah, so far. So it is admittedly kind of pissed me off because I think it done so much more.
Sparta doesn't look that much different either, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sparta needs to be expanded upon, and I wish they would do more with Gilgamesh, because where's all that awesome shit he was doing in the cutscene where he was like flipping in the air and kicking shit and doing
like the
backflips
1-inch
off
punch.
stuff? Yeah, the 1-inch punch, that's not in the moveset.
That would have been a lit move to have.
Oh,
I would say
especially,
for,
like, if you could charge that shit.
See, I would have said Cerberus, but they already super improved Cerberus. It's
miles better than 3. Not even funny. I would say more Agni and Rudra, since I love those weapons so much. They could do even more crazy shit. Like, I kind of wish, Agni and Rudra, the bosses, they have all those tornadoes and shit, and the other projectiles. Like, I want that. Can I have that for Dante? Might as well give him all the boss attacks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think too they could expand on the air combo potential for Agni and Rudra, because like you really don't have much to work with as far as like Swordmaster is concerned. I mean, granted, it does keep you in the air longer, especially when you have Rebellion in your loadout. You could just keep switching back and forth.
Oh, Dom, you just hit me. You just hit me with an idea. I found something to steal from the reboot real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Vegan Boy's little fireball shot downward? Give that to Agni and Rudra.
Oh, drive?
No. Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's called
That thing
drive.
where he shoots it down from the air. Give him that, and give him the what the hell's the slam move he does where he slams the sword in the ground?
What, atomic or the one here?
No, the ground one. Where he,
atomic.
Give him that, but give it to where he stabs both of them and it makes like a fire explosion or something. That would be awesome.
I was gonna say too, like how Virgil had like some of the aerial combos added to like Force Edge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like air stingers, shit like that. Like I wouldn't mind if they did something like that for Agni and Rudra, where they gave some aerial combos and just added like directional shit. Yeah. Yeah, like just give us more like different aerial like directional input, so that way there's like more to do in the air.
It would be nice if he had a move where he could dash, kind of like Caliber.
Well, now you mention it though, since weapon mode switching is a thing though, they could just have like a mode for air or a mode for fire. Like fire does.
Shit, I didn't think about that. What about the mode where you put them together and they're always together?
Yeah,
that could work too.
Yeah, because Cerberus has 3 modes, so Agni and Rudra could technically have 3 modes as well if they wanted to do that too.
That could be interesting since we've seen what they do when they're put together, but with the boss doing it. So it could work. It could actually work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad we're agreeing with Nelton.
Yeah, so there's a lot of potential for a weapon like that. Also too for firearms, and I don't mean to drag this discussion out too long, but there are some firearms that they could expand upon too, specifically the ones that are devil based, like the Nightmare Beta or like Artemis and also Pandora. Especially Pandora because it has 666 forms.
I feel like Artemis definitely needs it because in Democrat 3, discuss the gunslinger move where you gotta hold down the button to do multiple lock-ons. That should be like an automatic charge thing. That should be on by default, not you holding the button. That's the thing that killed the joy for me for Artemis because I like what you can do, but I don't like.
It takes a year to get things going with it.
Yeah, it takes too long. So I think there should be like an automatically charged thing, kind of like with Gunslinger in 5, where the guns are automatically charged. You don't have to hold the button now.
since you bring up Pandora before, Pandora kind of is the first weapon to have a mode switch, technically.
Yeah, 666 forms, so you have quite a few things to work with.
I'm just not sure what else they would do with it other than completely change what forms you're allowed to use for the next game.
Well, it doesn't have 6 guns either, so.
That's true. Anything else?
Yeah, that's why a lot of people thought Cavalier at the time was going to be Pandora because of just the look of it. And the gold handlebars kind of were reminiscent to what Pandora would do because they would have like accents of gold.
The thing is, though, that didn't make any sense because for starters, Cavalera is like a shiny, like purplish hue to it. Pandora is blue.
Yeah, but that was at the time when people weren't really aware of the fact that, Cavalier was its own thing.
I think we're done with number 11, right? Unless you guys anything else said?
Yeah, well, I think I cut off Ren. I didn't mean to cut him off.
He's not here at the moment.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Ren.
He had some demons to go and kill.
All right, who wants to take the pleasure of reading number 12?
I'll do it. I got the
All right.
balls for it. How do you feel about the character V since his gameplay has been demonstrated to the public with DMC5? Cite the things you liked and disliked of this gameplay. To add on to this, there's a lot of speculation with V from a lore perspective. Based on what you heard, who do you think this mysterious man is? Also, do you find it hilarious that everything about V so far seems to be direct jab to the DMC reboot? Shoot.
Okay, well, for starters, so far I am loving V. I definitely do like his playstyle so far. I never thought I would like an edgy character this much, but it feels natural. Like he's not forcing it. He just like be himself basically. And yeah, what I dislike though, I can't say anything about dislike because Capcom hasn't given a full demonstration yet. But I hope at least that from a gameplay standpoint, he gets more familiars aside from the usual 3. I feel like his gameplay potential is already untapped, given that he can do all this stuff.
I think he will, since we've seen Dante, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen not all of his weapons. We've seen some, so that same thing kind of applies, in my opinion, to V. We've seen some of his familiars, but not all of them.
Yeah, but given the fact that he's a new beginner character, I highly doubt they will give him more than we already have still, but fingers crossed. And
Just
as far as
See,
yeah, exactly.
I'm glad you brought that up, Brandon, because I actually kind of hope that they add more familiars and stuff like that, because I don't think that just because you have a beginner-friendly character that you should cut them off from the access of like new stuff to work with. That was kind of my big problem with Nero when I first played him, was that yeah, he's the beginner-friendly character, but what happened to having multiple devil arms and firearms? And this is something that I've had a problem since DMC4 that I'm still kind of having a problem with him in 5, just because I've been playing the series since 1, and when I was a beginner, we at least got stuff like new swords and guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they're kind of making it a bit. I like it when it's beginner friendly, gives beginners an entry point, but I agree with your opinion. It feels like maybe, hopefully, I think I heard V is going to be a pretty technical character, though, too.
Mm.
The creator said he's the new easy character to play as.
By the looks of it, yeah, he might be technical, but still, beginner friendly.
Yeah.
Nero's moved to intermediate, in my opinion. Now he's the middle character. It seems like Itsuno's really hell-bent on keeping weapon switching between Dante and Virgil and maybe Lady and Trish. That seems to be the only character that's allowed to do it.
Yeah, that's a good
some
point.
Strange reason.
And I feel like Nero should at least have the ability to switch between arms manually. Because I don't know.
It's not that bad.
I know
fine with it. Plug in him.
I get that's not that bad though, but I feel like the potential could be bigger. Like imagine you tossing out the rocket arm and then you did the Gerber pedal ray in the air.
I know Itsuno. I'm assuming part of it is to keep him more different from Dante, because they seem to be very hell bent on everybody not feeling like each other. That seems to be what they're going for.
A little late for that in some cases,
Well,
but
So, because I guess if they had the arm switching, it would just be style switching again, and I guess Itsuno does not want that to be the case.
Yeah, but I think the only problem with that though is that you could look at something like Yakuza 0, for example, where Kazuma and Majima, they both have style switching, but they play very differently from each other. So I don't know. It just kind of seems like it's I don't want to say laziness, but kind of just underdeveloped, maybe.
yeah,
You know,
deprived.
not really-
I disagree. Because the way it's been described as an adaptive style or something, so you have to just adjust on the fly and deal with it. I can kind of get behind that to an extent because none of the arms are shit. They all serve a purpose. You can use them.
They all have their own use, right?
Yeah, so it's not like he's gimp, because he can't pick which one he wants.
Yeah.
But that's what the pros have been calling it. It's more of an adaptive on the spot kind of style.
The going back to V, because this is a question dedicated to V.
Yeah.
You know, if they're gonna have the like different familiars to summon, I assume that he's not gonna be able to like just swap them like you would with a devil arm. I think you would just have to have it set as is, like
Probably
a
Divinity statue.
Divinity statue, yeah, or mission prep screen.
As far as things I don't like about him, by the way, I don't know. I don't know that much about him yet to say I don't like him.
Also,
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to interject really quickly. I hope that whenever you defeat a boss, you can use him as a summon or maybe a move or something like that, because it'll bring that satisfying feeling to bosses being defeated and you getting their powers in the DMC universe, and that would be pretty cool if they kept that.
See,
I mean,
I'm glad-
Dante already gets the bike, so why not V getting something for his own summons?
I'm glad you brought that up because in the initial trailer that we saw V in, he is actually on like one of the bosses that Nero fights, and I didn't notice that until I actually like slowed down the trailer and actually looked through some of the frames because I was just trying to get a better look
Are
at
you talking
some
about
of
the
the
chicken?
areas.
Yeah, V is not on top of the chicken.
He's
that's
not on
something
top
else.
of the chicken.
He's not, because
No.
it's really hard to tell what that is.
Yeah, it is something else. Yeah, I
It's
saw it
something-
too. Yeah, it's something else, not V.
Yeah, I thought I agreed with you, Dom, and then I watched it more and more like, wait, that actually isn't V. Looks
Yeah,
to be
it-
something encased in crystal.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you see it. It was such a hard frame to like actually like see.
Oh, yeah. It was like 2
So-
seconds.
Yeah, it's very easy to miss, and that, you know, for what it is, it's if they did something like that though, where like maybe he had to actually get help from like Nero or Dante to possess the boss, so that way he can use it for his DT as opposed to just Nightmare, that would make sense to me.
I wonder how much help he's in need though, because he was already kicking Goliath fucking ass with Nightmare. Like goddamn, having a kaiju battle over there.
I think that's actually before Nero fights him, because if you look very closely to the furthest right, the Coliseum is not destroyed.
Hmm.
I have a
So
feeling that V fights Goliath before Nero does.
That's interesting that Goliath survived and then fights Nero. I wonder. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see how that pans out. Maybe
Yeah.
V thought he was a waste of time.
Might be right about it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. But
One thing I wanted to say is one thing I've heard about V is that they're going to keep his health like really, really low. Like 1 or 2 hits from an enemy is like going to put you in the danger zone really fast.
So he's lady. His lady
Wow.
in 4 can't take a hit for shit.
Yeah, basically he's
yeah,
gonna be-
I think they mean like maybe he doesn't have like 2 full bars like the other 2 characters.
I got the impression that basically how you're gonna have to play him both defensively and learn to use him offensively. Like,
Yeah.
that's
They
the
said
impression
both
I
is
was getting.
important.
Yeah, and I think that's actually kind of interesting. While he's going to be an easy character to play, I think it's going to be a more defensive type of stance you're going to be taking.
Maybe they're
good.
trying to use balance, because I mean you already have a giant kaiju nightmare that comes out and destroys everything.
They said Nightmare's invincible, by the way.
Yeah, it was like you can't kill it, so how the hell are they going to balance the game?
That's his DT, by the way. So once his meter goes away, my Nightmare disappears.
I mean, still, that is something useful
also-
to have on the battlefield. So
They
I
also
don't
said
know.
something important. The demons cannot, like Griffin and Shadow, cannot kill the enemies. That V actually has to step in to finish them.
To me,
Not only
that doesn't even make any sense because demons can't kill other demons, but Blitz killed demons in DMC4. Come on now.
I don't know. That's what they said. They said V has to step
what
in
they
to. They said V has to step in to perform the finishing hit, whatever
that's
it's
not-
going to be.
That's not the that's not the worst thing though. The Phantom and not Phantom, Shadow and Griffin can actually take damage and be out of combat for a while if you don't do your whatever.
They labeled it as their cores or something. They turn into cores. Maybe they mean like Shadow has the ball thing come out, so
Yeah.
that's when he's out of commission.
One thing I think they kind of showed that in V's trailer, didn't they? Where like Griffin's like hit this guy or something like that and uses his cane. He like teleports over, like kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah, those are his finishing moves. All those
Yeah.
teleporting attacks are his finishers.
yeah. So probably gonna be something like that.
I want to point something out about the hair too. When he does do the DT, and they have confirmed this, by the way, his tattoos disappear.
Yep.
Yep, you can see it
Also
in the
too-
trailers as well.
Also, too, like I don't know if you guys noticed this, but his hair actually kind of like it kind of gets like this floaty effect. You know, like it's flowing through like water or something like that. It's really
Yeah.
weird. I don't know, like from what I've seen with V, he just kind of seems like they took everything about Dante and Virgin, everything that, you know, at least idea wise would have been interesting or could have worked well, and just applied it to a whole new character and made a whole new style based around that. And just made it a lot more likable. The only thing now is just to be able to actually test that out in gameplay, of course, but so far from like character portrayal and like the way that they have him set up with these previews, he looks very interesting in my opinion.
I just don't like the whole familiars can't kill other enemies thing, and you have to constantly teleport into them and see the kill cams over and over.
Well,
just
in
hope-
hindsight, it's actually a good thing though, because you know you cannot just stand back and spam your demons do all the work for you. You actually gotta get in combat and get your hands dirty.
Yeah,
That
but
and
I
the fact
hope.
that demons can also be temporarily defeated means he will still have to get in there.
But the problem with that is you have to finish every demon the exact same way, and it could get repetitive. So I hope it doesn't. And there's like a lot of unique finishers or unique things that you can do when you're up close and personal. So that's my only issue.
I've seen at least 6 finishers so far. I think 5 or 6 different ones.
I've seen
I
the one
assume
where
the
he
summon games is
stabs.
different, right?
The summoning canes is different because when he hits someone, it goes into the ground and it affects everyone. And I also heard that that move in particular, apparently you can choose to use it from DT as well.
Huh. That'll be interesting.
It's not uncommon because I believe Virgil could do that with the summon swords anyway.
Oh, you mean that Virgil can? Okay,
Yes,
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. V needs DT to use summon canes.
Yeah.
That's fine. I kind of expected that. That would be OP otherwise. He's kind of a wait and see character.
I mean, I think he'll be fun, but I just hope that he's interesting to use and is not too convoluted for their own good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right. In that case, then let's go ahead and move on to number 13. Wow, we're almost finished. No, I'll go ahead and read that one off. What DMC3 styles were introduced for Dante, ever since then, that has been a staple for him in the franchise. Is there a favorite and least favorite style you toy with throughout the series? Explain in detail. Well, I'll go first. My absolute favorite is definitely Swordmaster because combo potential is fantastic. It's godly. But my least favorite, honestly, gotta go to Gunslinger because the guns in 3 and 4, wow, they're not terrible, but they're kind of underwhelming. And there's a lack of like specialness to Gunslinger. Like all you do is do like an alternate type shot. I think they could like add in like maybe combo based attacks with the gunslinger. Like for example, all the gunslinger's basic stuff is actually came from DMC 2. You got input a certain command to execute a like a shotgun combo as they call it in the game. So it'd be nice if they integrate like different types of combos for like the guns with gunslinger via like say triangle for a square or circle, whatever gunslinger command would be, and then you execute like a special combo with the gun. I think that would be pretty cool.
What did I miss?
We're number 13 now, and you completely missed everything I said.
Oh, sorry about that. I just came back.
If you don't mind me going next.
Go ahead.
I will say I think one of my favorite styles. I actually really like the idea of Quicksilver in DMC 3. I know it's not the absolute best style in the game, but I really like the idea of it.
I mean, if you have super character, it is the best style in the game.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, but I do think I just love the idea of it. I hope we might see it come back in DMC 5. I doubt it.
It is. Nero has it now.
Well,
No,
yeah,
It's an arm for Nero.
I mean,
No, he means for Dante.
Yeah,
Dante, to be honest, I doubt it. I think Nero's owning that one now.
but I would like to see it come back for Dante. I wish, but I know we probably won't. And
I mean, Dante, technically speaking, could do it better because that's his magic.
Exactly. Least favorite style, I think, has to go. And I know this is somebody's going to crucify me for this one, but I think it's Royal Guard.
I knew it. Called it in my mind.
It's technical style. I can understand why.
I understand. I could use it. I can't use it well.
In 3, it's executed like it's overpowered as fuck. If you know how to use it. In 4, it sucks ass, in my opinion. In 5, it looks disgusting in a good way. I think by 5 they fixed it.
I'm just not the biggest fan of it, and Quicksilver's cool because it's basically the world from JoJo.
As far as styles are concerned, Swordmaster is my personal favorite style. That's just because I like doing all the different like extended moves and also having the ability to do extra moves in the air. But I think like if they had to like bring any of the styles back from 3 or 4, because obviously Dante had one extra style in 4 and 2 in 3. I would really want them to bring back Doppelganger and Quicksilver and expand on those. Granted, if they do it, I doubt it. But those should be abilities that he shouldn't have technically lost, per se. Considering that this isn't like a devil arm where he could just get rid of it. He's just not using it in the game. Well, partially because the developers aren't implementing the mechanics for them. Now you could argue, well, how would you swap it into those styles? Would they just have it like Darkslayer, where you just double tap on one style, or?
Oh, the easy answer is like you can choose what style you want for whatever directional input.
Yeah, which I think the latter option would definitely work well. Like I could see people wanting to like maybe if they're not too good with like Royal Guard or maybe Gunslinger, they might swap those out for like a Doppelganger or over. So
yeah.
It just it's just something that I think would be nice to see make a comeback.
Right. Anybody else got anything else said?
Favorite style? I obviously have to say Swordmaster. Least favorite, and I wish they would fix. I would have said Darkslayer, but I really doubt Dante is ever going to hold Yamato again. I don't feel like it's stuck with Virgil forever now at this point. Unless 5 proves me wrong, we'll see. But that was kind of something interesting I wanted to see improved since, he's copying his brother. I kind of wanted to see his own variations of how he uses Yamato. Maybe he has his own different moves with it. So far, copy Virgil.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because I feel like they should incorporate like a unique fifth style that allows you to use another double arm secondary though, but of course you don't have access to like swordmaster moves for it. But like in Democrat 4, if you put on Yamato, it's literally a second weapon on the style button. So I think that would be pretty cool to have that. Like you could equip a whatever double arm for that particular style, and you could use it tandem on something else, or which is main base melee weapon.
Then I kind of want to see Dante do more half-ass stuff from Virgil. Like I like that the extra detail in 4. Like if Dante does I think his version is called Dimension Slash instead of Judgment Cut.
Yeah, he literally
Slash is it's like a giant Judgment Cut, but it's out of focus. It's much weaker. The only thing it has is a wider area. So
it's not that it's weak per se. I think they could have done better implementing the mechanic because I feel like it should
that's for sure.
Could have froze the enemy in place and then it blows up.
The thing about it is that it's unrefined as shit and it's unconcentrated. So it shows like the gap of practice, I guess, between the two of them, like whose forte is where. So I like little details like that.
I mean, you could kind of say the same thing with like Virgil using Force Edge, like kind of why his stinger is has a shorter range than Dante, and why
shorter range it somehow does more damage, which I don't understand.
Concentration meter, you gotta remember that.
Yeah, but or like his million stab not lasting as long as Dante's, things of that nature. So I think you're.
It's fun seeing them try each other's fighting styles, and they're like half baked for each other because it's not theirs.
I think pro players did want to see like characters like using each other's weapons just to see like how they would use them. Not necessarily having it be canon per se, but just to see like what if this character used this weapon, like how would they use it differently from the other.
Imagine Dante with a Red Queen. That would be a doozy.
He'd finally get to rev the sword.
He'd fucking break it. He's too strong. He'll shatter the thing. Especially because it's a human-made weapon. Yeah. I don't think he could stand the abuse Dante puts on Rebellion, for example. But it'd be interesting to see him try anyways.
Indeed. I think we're good on this question, right? Let's go ahead and move to 14 because we only got a few more questions left on our document.
Yep, number 14. Who wants to go for that?
I'll go ahead then.
Oh, you can get it. Go ahead.
Okay, well, what are your hopes for Virgil's role? Keep in mind now, he's technically speaking, he's not confirmed, but we know it's in the game, but it's too late now. I already read the question. What are your hopes for Virgil's role in Democrat 5, given all the rumors, speculations, and leaks about the guy?
Yeah, we know he's there. Okay, no one's fooled by this shit.
But deadass though, I had nothing to say about this topic because most of my stuff comes from the leaks, and I'm not going to say leaks on the podcast.
Anything outside of that, you would say you.
Hooded guy in the fucking garage grabs Nero's arm and uses his arm as a Christmas ornament.
Yeah, with your name.
Happy holidays.
Somebody actually did make a fan art of that.
I think it'd be just kind of neat to see Virgil and Dante interact again.
Yeah.
That's my one and only hope, really.
My dream role, I guess, would be, aside from whatever we know, for starters, don't kill the motherfucker. I'm gonna be really mad if that happens. I kind of want him to mentor Nero for his demonic powers. He would be the best person out of anybody to teach him how to use his double trigger.
That totally makes sense.
More effectively.
That totally makes sense to consider it. No, fuck, I can't say it. All right, no, whatever.
Shut your hormone.
I would really like to see, Virgil possibly because he's kind of already an anti-hero. He's not necessarily an antagonist, but I would kind of.
He's chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I would basically want him to become somebody that ends up joining Dante and Nero on their quest to hunt down demons. He forgoes his quest for power and just wants to stick with his family.
By logic, he should have a revelation to do what Sparta does, which is to protect
humanity from demons, which is what Dante does. So logically, it should come to that, depending on what happens. But who knows?
Well, like, and even too, like, I think, like, him being Nero's dad, like, maybe he decides, like, oh, well, shit, my son is half human, or like 75% human, like, maybe I should be a better father.
Man, he ain't gonna do that. He's gonna be like, you're a bigger scrub than my brother.
He's not doing a good job by ripping his arm off, so I'm just letting that be known.
You know what though? I kind of want to see like a training montage similar to like Dragon Ball Z, where like
Piccolo and Gohan.
Gohan, yeah, like it's just instead of Piccolo and Gohan, it's Virgil and Nero.
Oh, good. He can have him try to dodge the summon swords, and he'll impale him every time.
Yeah. You can't eat until you know how to dodge a fucking summon sword.
Good luck with that.
Okay, we're done here, right?
Yeah, we're done.
Wait, did Ren actually have anything or no?
No, my answer is pretty much the same. Have him as a mentor role, and don't kill him. Because from DMC 1, that was a big problem from the very beginning. People implying, is he dead? Is he alive? Who knows?
He just blew the fuck up.
If he dies in this game, it would be severely wasted character potential.
Virgil dies of a heart attack.
So I think they won't do it because the fans will fucking flip their lip. I know I will.
Dan will flip his lip in the recording studio.
Look, Dan low-key leaked that Virgil was alive. He's like, he's the new ruler of heaven and hell, or whatever he said. I find that funny. He made all those jokes, yet Virgil is. We know he's alive.
He predicted the future, or he gave us a leak in a really funny way.
He rubbed his crystal ball.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
How about you read number 15, Ron?
I can't. I have music outside.
Oh, fuck. Okay. James, you want to read the next one then?
Sure. What are your thoughts on the breaker system for Nero and DMC5 and all the arms he's shown off so far? I think it's pretty hype, actually. It feels like a natural progression over the Devil Bringers, and now he has an absurd amount more options. Gerbera is probably my favorite so far because now he has basically an even stupider version of Trickster.
He can't teleport.
He can't teleport, but he apparently has infinite air dashing.
No, he doesn't. He has 3.
Is it 3?
Mm-hmm.
People keep telling me it's more, but maybe I'm crazy. What has he got? Punchline?
Yeah, Punchline. That's pretty lit.
Most of his arms are pretty cool. They're all useful in some manner. So I'm not complaining. I like what I see.
Same. I'm just really, really happy at least Quicksilver's in it, but I actually really kind of think the idea is it's nice. It's kind of giving Nero a form of style switching, even though you can't switch breakers. It's kind of giving him some style, and I get the impression you're going to kind of have to plan your loadout accordingly.
Yeah, that's all I heard people complain about with the demo is they can't switch the arms properly for some reason.
Yeah.
No, you can. You can't. You cannot manually switch them.
Yeah.
The only one that does that is the pasta breaker.
Yeah, that's what people are talking about. Yeah.
I can't believe the pasta breaker is gonna add a new layer of strategy.
Yeah, but truth be told, you're kind of better off not using it because you could just break the arms, customize your loadout yourself, either in Nico's van or whatever other place.
I think it's going to be something people complain about at first, and then they just get used to it ASAP anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I already see viable strategies against, like, for example.
I mean, if you know your loadout and you have a plan for a combo, it's not really that much of an issue, then, is it?
Exactly.
Well, with some of the arms that you can find and pick up throughout the areas, like you could probably like some of the demos had like 3 arms next to each other, and there were like different arms each, right? So like you could probably pick up a different arm that you want to use in that order. So
yeah, it'll add a layer of strategy, and then that'll be cool.
Indeed. I'll give my thoughts real quick. So far, yeah, I am digging the Devil Breaker system. It's definitely an improvement, though. It is strange that Nero went from having indestructible arm for the most part to having breakable arm, but comes with the territory. So far, my favorite one would probably be the rawhide, the whip arm,
Yeah.
because it feels like a natural secondary weapon for Nero at this point. Yeah, I can't wait to play with them because since I don't have an Xbox, I can't play the demo. Fucking Capcom. So I gotta wait till next month.
Yeah, we gotta wait till January.
Hopefully.
No, they confirmed it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
It's January.
Okay, thank
January
God.
7th is the deadline for the Xbox exclusive demo.
Well, I can't wait to play it on my PS4 Pro.
Yep.
So
Numbers.
I can
Oh,
do
Three, number 16.
I didn't go yet. I didn't go yet.
I forgot you existed. I'm sorry.
No, I forgot you saw. All right, so my favorite arm is obviously Tomboy, the one that just blows everything the fuck up, and it makes the Exceed arm like a lot more stronger.
And it overcharges the shit out of Red Queen.
Yeah, that's going to be probably one of the arms that does like a lot of friggin' damage. So I'm looking forward to see how that works.
Actually, I didn't think about this, Ren. You just made me remember something with Tomboy. With Red Queen being overcharged, it becomes a only two-handed weapon. Nero's no longer one-handed.
Yep, it has a new combo set of its own.
Yeah, it changes attacks too. I was like, oh shit. It's actually a big deal.
Maybe it'll have extended movesets when you upgrade it. Who knows?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But I guess we can move on to the next one now.
Devil May Cry hasn't been picture perfect with issues regarding the platforming mechanics and a very linear narrative. Are there mechanics or problems that come to your mind that should be refined for later entries?
Oh lord.
No platforming. No
5
more.
kind of fixes the linearity in some areas, so that's one thing. But I hope there's no platforming. But
There is.
Ugh,
We've seen Grim Grip. They're back. So that means
Oh,
Nero's
that's
gonna have to do
right.
that again.
It is, but it looks like they simplified it. I think they took some aspects from the reboot and just tried to make it simple instead of super complex like God Cube Room. As far as like the linear narrative, I think they're gonna try to do this thing with like what RE6 tried to do, and that's to have multiple characters that have multiple stories take place at once at different points in time. Which seems to be the case because they have alluded to the fact that V's story takes place first, then Dante's, and then Nero's last. So I think it's just going to be one of those things where they're going to try to make it a lot more broad, and by broad I mean in a sense where it kind of jumps around and takes you in multiple twists and turns, which isn't something that Devil May Cry has really done before per se.
You know, actually, I think the platforming is going to be easier. Well, for starters, Nero's got Gerbera. V can fly for a little bit with Griffin, and Dante can fly too. Dante can fly in DT, and he is
Dante is Dante.
Yeah. So I think actually platforming should be easier. The characters definitely feel more mobile now.
One thing I want to see refined personally, it would be, since we got 3 characters now, it'd be really nice if the enemies are built around each character. Like each character. That was a big problem with 4. I personally.
Oh yeah.
And I know this is something that a lot of people feel, but of course the enemies were tailored around Nero. So now that we got 3 characters, make the enemies unique. You know, give them give them some uniqueness. Make
Please.
unique.
Please don't force feed me the same boss and he works for Dante, but he's a pain in the ass to fight with Nero, because that would get on my nerves.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That's what they're doing, because even though the characters are fighting pretty much the same types of enemies, I think what they did was try not to balance the enemies around one character and rather have them work around all of the characters. Because like you said, the problem with 4 was that the enemies were more catered towards Nero, and really the only ones that the only characters that work well against those enemies are Nero, Lady, and Virgil. Dante and Trish, while you can still fight those enemies, they just don't feel like they're tailored towards those enemies. You can feel, especially like with the Angelos in particular, or Blitz, you can feel like they're tailored more towards Nero, especially.
For the Angelos, they just that's really anybody can fight them. Just literally go behind them and fight them.
Yeah, but I'm just talking the way that they're balanced. Like the way that they're balanced, they're made more for Nero. Even though anyone can fight them, yeah, but the way that they feel like it's more effective to fight them with Nero.
I feel like the more appropriate enemy you should set is Blitz, because that's definitely feel like not for everybody. You did? Okay.
Actually, if you want to get super technical, you could say that the bosses kind of work better for Nero, whereas Dante, they take more work.
Well, yeah, because Nero, if they get stunned, he can do special buster moves. Dante can't do shit besides his regular move.
Nope, better...
unless you disord attacks with Gilgamesh. That's the best way to do, optimal damage.
You better learn distorted DT fast. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you're not gonna get that same amount of damage if you just try to well on them regularly.
Nope.
Yeah, as you clearly see in Devil May Cry 5, if a Dante doesn't impact or that's a royal release, it hurts. So that gap in power is no longer annoying, unlike in 4.
Although Nero still is the best when it comes to dealing with a stunned boss, because in the demo, when I played it, I killed the boss at half health in one buster throw. That was the end of him.
Yeah, I think we're done with Sokka, right? Everybody got their answers up?
Yep.
All right, let's go to number 17. I'll read this one off. Who is your favorite and least favorite boss in the series? Favorite boss? Fucking Dante, because he's more dynamic than Virgil.
He's terrifying.
Yeah, Virgil is more linear with his movie. Dante is a little bit more touchy on higher difficulties. He's more unpredictable.
He just knows what he wants.
Least favorite, Tri-Sigma or Trigia, whatever his name is from Democrat 2.
Trismagia, I think his name is.
Yeah,
three-headed egg fuck from 2.
Yeah, I didn't like that fight. It wasn't well designed at all.
All right. Favorite boss? Yeah, I'm gonna say Credo. Because I could say Virgil, that'd be easy, but I'll say Credo is always fun. Least favorite would have to be the first form of Argos Axe. That shit sucks. I'm sorry, the blob of bosses is not fun to fight.
Yeah, he's
Melee
literally
is highly discouraged.
He's literally the only boss that had that much health in the series.
Yeah, you can only really shoot him. It's not like you can do combos and shit. You just get knocked away if you do it.
Yep.
So for me, it's actually going to be that stupid fish boss that Lucia has to fight into. I'm surprised nobody said that.
His favorite or least favorite?
Least favorite or most hated, in my opinion. Like, Jesus Christ, that boss sucks ass. Like, I'm surprised nobody said that. But yeah, that fish boss is annoying. Whatever the fuck. Like, all the boss names are weird in DMC2.
I think they're Latin or German.
And then as far as favorite is concerned, I actually really enjoy Agni and Rudra from 3. Yeah, that fucking thing. Fuck that thing. Like,
favorite boss, Dante. Least favorite, Nightmare. Nightmare sucks. Fucking gotta do everything to damage this thing, and then
which one?
All
Nightmare
of them.
1, 2.
All of them. All the same fights.
All of them. They suck. Well, Nightmare 3 is even more annoying because you have like Trish trying to kill you.
And then he has this thing where he has a suicide mode where after you finish his health bar off, he gets a little smidge left to try and kill you at the end.
Oh my!
Fuck that on DMD, by the way. It's horrible.
Indeed.
My favorite boss, I think, has to be Milo Angelo 1, DMC 1, and I don't know. It's the epitome of DMC 1's basically get good, kind of like Virgil 1 and DMC 3. Just fitting.
Yeah.
But least favorite, I know this is kind of a generic pick, but it's Best Chopper from DMC2. And it's not even because the boss is hard or anything, it's because it's just so boring and uninspired.
I
You're
agree with
just shooting the thing for like 17 hours until it dies. That's not a fun boss fight.
Even its design is just boring, and then that's at least the fish has an okay design.
You know what the sad part is that Shinobi on PS2 tried doing infested tanks and choppers, and they didn't work well either in that game.
It's a curse.
They don't work well if they have a giant health bar.
Nope,
That's the
not at
thing.
all.
Well, I
It's
just don't
being
think
the worst example of standing there spamming the melee button.
I don't think action games are fun when you have to fight a tank or a helicopter. Like, what's so fun about fighting that? Like, give me
Unless
like,
you're
a monster.
riding.
Yeah, unless you're riding, I was going to say
Well,
that too.
Yeah, but you know, in MGR, like you're fighting up against like other fucking things while you're fighting the helicopter.
MGR is the only exception because you can actually do shit and stun it, and it'll respond to like your attacks. In this game, it's a giant tank. It literally does nothing for you. You just shoot it until it dies.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's not a fun fight per se.
I'll take number 18.
Alrighty.
All right.
Are there any suggestions you would make to newcomers of the franchise trying to get into DMC for the first time? Play them in order. Don't do this bullshit where we go from 1 to 3. Play 2.
I
Don't push the out on me.
disagree.
Did you
the
tell
only reason-
Chaos that though?
No, I told him to play in numerical order, and the only reason why I
1,
said
2,
that.
3.
Yeah, that's what I said just now. Play them in order.
Oh, I thought
No,
you
I
said.
said don't skip 2.
Oh, I thought you said play them in chronological order.
Man,
No.
you got
No,
shit.
no, yeah, okay. I thought you said because if you were talking about numeric like
No,
chronological,
I'm just
order,
talking 1, 2, 3, and
yeah,
4.
play
technically.
them in numerical order. In that case, I take back what I said. I do agree with what you said.
Yeah, because people do this thing. Like, I know Chaos did it, and I still gonna tell him he should go back and play 2 anyway, just to understand like what people's problems are and how 2 evolved into 3, or the things that 2 had, like the wall running and all the platforming stuff, and Dante's movement kind of changes. It transitions into 3 and into better ideas.
Yeah,
It's an important part in the series, like weird evolution.
yeah. And there's also too, and I know Brandon will probably agree with this one. There's a lot of mechanics that they tried into that aren't ever going to come back, possibly, with like the amulet system, for example.
That's something I do want it back. Actually.
Although we are getting Majin Form to come back, so maybe something in the future for another character.
What do they call it? I think its actual name. Shit.
Well, it's a leak, but it's not.
It doesn't reveal anything.
I'm
though.
about to explain it. Oh. Yeah. The leak name is apparently Shin Devil Trigger, which means true, which makes sense because if you know Japanese, the Japanese shit, it means true. So like, look at Kumo for example. Shin no Kumo means true Kumo. What other meaning behind it?
Shin could also mean new. Shin has a lot of
Multiple
Japanese-
meanings.
Yeah, Japanese words have multiple meanings, but in the case of this, it probably would mean true.
Also means heart.
Yeah, but it has a lot of meanings, but yeah, that's just a thing that they could definitely do. Like,
I think my tip for newcomers is just to breathe. Like, I had this problem when I started playing DMC3 for the first time and I got to Cerberus, and it was the fact that like it's really your big first boss encounter. Well, outside of the one outside Dante's shop, but I count Cerberus as the true first boss. And just breathe. Like, learn from your mistakes if you die, and just breathe and calm down, all that, because it can get really tense, very stressful.
I can agree with that because there's one thing that newcomers always do is they complain a little too much. Like, the series is basically hard, and as the series progresses, more catered towards the veterans, more so the new guys, minus maybe a character or two. But you gotta take your time, actually learn the game. Don't rush through it because you will get stuck and get your ass kicked. That's the nature of it.
Also, for people who brute force DMC, they tend to forget that there's a lot of exploring, so they miss out on like orbs and items and shit like that. So pay attention to your surroundings and stuff like that because you might miss something. Yeah, and also, there's one more other thing. Don't just rely on guns. There's DMC 2 where it's guns only and you can fuck shit up with that. But when 3 comes about, you're going to want to rely on more than just guns.
And actually learn the combos rather than just spamming triangle all the time. That will eventually want to get you that far.
Oh, I was gonna say that too. Yeah, don't play this game like a fucking button masher because you're basically missing the entire point of the series.
Pause combos, mid combo switches, so those are very handy, especially in 3. Yeah, juggling. And then too, like beginners aren't probably gonna pick up on this the first time around, but like what is it? Jump canceling is definitely something that you could pick up on, and once you get that, you can start like learning more. I would
say after your first playthrough, then you should probably learn stuff like jump canceling because that's more for advanced people where they fuck with their controller and change the buttons about so they can do it easier. But I say once you really master the mechanics, then you can go and learn the more advanced techniques.
Yeah. I think also too with like any other tips as far as that's concerned, like play around with the styles. Like 1 and 2 won't have them, but 3 definitely will be that first game where you get introduced to styles. So see what you like, but don't necessarily stick with just the one style because all the styles have their perks and disadvantages.
Yeah, it's okay. That you should try other stuff. I know you have Swordmaster maxed out. I'm like, you probably like Trickster as well. Well, Royal Guard's like, ooh. Yeah, you got some balls if you're new to try that style.
Royal Guard is like, in DMC 3 is really hard to master. That's like, you gotta be prepared.
No, it's actually easy.
In DMC 3?
Yeah, it's 4 where they made it harder. The thing in 3 is if you get a few blocks, the meter's already maxed out for release, and you do an assload of damage. Like it's at 3's Royal Guard is actually horrendously broken. So if you know what you're doing, you can stack damage like that.
Yeah, but isn't the like quote for Royal Guard, and I don't mean to cut you off, Dom, but isn't the quote for Royal Guard is good if you know how to use it?
They said it's good for advanced players.
Yeah,
and for its case, the reason why it's harder because you build up more meter, and the payoff is not as big as it was in Democrat 3.
Yeah, 3 you blast like almost half a health bar off on normal mode. It's retarded, and other enemies will just get killed instantly.
Yeah, I do remember.
And that's not just releasing. That's standard releasing. If you do royal release, it's GG's.
And then as far as I'm aware too, like the Gunslinger was also overpowered in 3, but got nerfed in 4. If I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't say it was overpowered, but no.
I would say it's more useful in 3 and 4. It's kind of
It's very situational.
Very situational. Although 5 seems to have severely rectified that. Thank God for automatic charging now.
Amen.
Thank God.
Ramen.
Same thing with Nero. Nero doesn't have to charge anymore either. You hold the button just to load the bullets, and you don't have to hold down it anymore. That was probably one of my biggest problems with him. Like his charge shot is part of his game strat, but it's such a pain to hold the button the whole time.
Yeah, it's DMC 4 and like even DMC 3. It's a lot of charge mechanics that a lot of people really complain about that I kind of understand because someone doesn't want to hold a dedicated attack button, then they might lose their charge, then you want to continue the combo, so people just say fuck it and change their buttons around.
Especially when you have to hold lock on most of the game.
To DMC's credit though, drive, that's probably the best way to implement drive because it's instant charge rather than sitting down and waiting.
Have we seen Dante's yet?
No.
Oh,
Only surprised he doesn't have it.
Hopefully, that is fixed.
The only other tip that I would have to give is also play around with different weapons. Don't just stick with two things. I get having favorites to play around with, and don't get me wrong, I've done that myself, but definitely mix it up too.
Yeah, I can agree with all that.
So we ready to move on to the last question?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
He's gonna read that.
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
All right. So simple question: favorite and least favorite game of the OG DMC saga. Very easy question for me. Favorite is DMC 3. Least favorite is DMC 2. Very simple.
Least favorite DMC 1. I know some people are gonna be shocked by that. Most favorite 4. I have to say 4. Even though I like the story in 3 more.
Go ahead, Brandon.
My favorite, obviously 3. Like 4 is good enough, but it has too many balancing issues. Like it's just a mess of a game in terms of balancing. My least favorite is a toss up between 1 and 2. Not because I don't like those games, because different reasons. Like one's better than the other for 2 different reasons. So I guess I put them in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you go ahead.
For me, it's my least favorite would actually be 4. And again, kind of similar reason to what Brandon was saying, where it's not because it's like I think it's a bad game or anything. I actually do really like 4. It's just a thing of like how it was released and how it was set up as a game itself. Like, you know, you're forced to play one character that, you know, you're not necessarily wanting to play initially. You are lacking in a lot of aspects compared to like Dante and stuff like that, and just various other reasons. But I don't think that 4 is a bad game at all. But most favored definitely would have to be 3SE, just because it is the game that really set the bar for the franchise. And to date, I think that is the game that I've played the most across all of the platforms that I own Devil May Cry on.
For me, I think my favorite game is actually DMC 4. While I guess sort of unfinished. I just love it. I genuinely love the gameplay. I love playing Nero. I especially love Special Edition, Lady, Trish, Virgil. I love all of that. Least favorite, even though it has my favorite music, is DMC 1. I'm excluding DMC 2 from my list just to make it harder for myself. But I love the music in 1. I love a lot of things about 1. I love the atmosphere. It's just
It's not a well-aged game.
Yeah, that's
and
the
the
best
difficulty is garbage, in my opinion. If somebody had to platinum it twice, yeah, the difficulty is cancer.
Yeah, DMC 1 is fucking hard, man.
See, you guys never had to play it on PS2.
I did, actually.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about like James, like on the PS2 version, you had the fucked up control scheme.
Yeah, I know, the controls are like fucking ass backwards for no reason.
Yeah, like the controls were worse on PS2, so the HD.
You also got to remember,
And even still, ugh.
You also got to remember, it's the first game in the franchise, so controls weren't set in stone.
Yeah, like,
No, it's not even the controls. I'm just talking about like DMD is just god awful, unbalanced garbage, and it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I just think like for me, 1 isn't as bad just because like I remember the control scheme from like back on the PS2 version. So like, if I had to pick a version of DMC 1, it would have to be the HD version at this point.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree.
You know, so, but I do get where you're coming from, at least from a balancing perspective.
I don't mind it on normal, but like DMD is where I'm like, no, this game is shit. At that point, I'm sorry. That's where I fall apart. Especially because of, as a side tangent, because of like DT, the enemy's DT, for example, is stupid. They become almost invincible. It's absurd how long it takes to kill like one marionette that's been buffed up.
Oh god.
It takes like 6 Infernos. It's retarded.
Yeah.
But that's my side rant over.
Anyway, I think did we all go or did somebody else need to go?
I think everybody answered.
Yeah, I think everybody's good to go.
Okay,
All right.
so
Brandon or Dom,
Yeah.
want to close us out?
Well, hold on. I got one question though. Do you think this feature is bright for Devil May Cry, or do you think 5 should be like at least a good closure for now until maybe another 5 years from now?
I mean,
good question.
a lot of people are implying this is it for the Sons of Sparta arc. So maybe they want to do something new next time around, or maybe they could do something that's like a spin-off that we mentioned earlier, or maybe, you know, DMC 0 or DMC 2 remake or DMC 1 remake. We don't know. I do want them to keep doing more DMC games. I think Capcom should already know that since DMC 4 SE sold like really well, and that so many people are hyped about this game, that it shouldn't be just a dormant franchise anymore. So it should definitely get more attention. And I think the only way to do that is to keep making more entries that will appease the fans. I don't know what Insuno's gonna do, because supposedly he might step down and let other people do DMC. But as long as he finds talent, that's all I really care about, is the quality of the games.
I think when it comes to like what they should do after 5, like, because like you said, it's the supposed end of the Sons of Sparta arc. I don't think it's like the end for the series
In general. Yeah.
Yeah, D&D just won't be the topic anymore.
Yeah, like I think people kind of misconstrue that from like, oh, it's going to be the last game in the series, and I really doubt that, especially given how well the series has been doing with some of the re-releases and stuff like that, and how well 5's pre-orders have been going. A lot of people have been pre-ordering that game, especially with like.
And considering the insanely high budget the game has, like it has.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
One thing I
It's-
will say is one thing in the marketing heavily is the whole Devil May Cry is back.
Yeah.
Like again, if this was going to be the end, I think they'd be marketing it.
They would have.
As such.
Yeah, they would have said something about it.
Yeah.
I think with that being said, though, what they can do, because I don't want it to be a case of like, you know, we waited X amount of years, you know, because
we waited 10 years for this.
Yeah, like, because I think we waited five something years, and then we had like the announcement for the reboot, you know, or whatever, however many years it was.
The game came out 2008, and DMC was announced in 2010.
So
and released in Wait, didn't the reboot release in 2013 though?
2013, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it was announced in 2010.
So
yeah, there we go.
so I don't want it to be a case where it's like, hey, we got to wait 5 years for, you know, the game to get announced and then actually released. I would rather it be like, you know, maybe we get some of those spin-offs to hold us over while we wait for the mainline entry, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think depending on how 5's ending is, like what the story goes to next, I think the next thing to do to fill in the gaps would be let's remake, or either they do DMC 0 or they start remaking 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily need to have Itsuno for the remakes per se, because it's just like all they would have to do is just copy some mechanics over and maybe a few assets here and there, because some of the enemies are just redesigned from 1 and 3.
Okay. We got our thoughts on that. We're good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is one of our longer podcasts, even though we said we should try to
An hour, my ass. This thing's almost 3 hours.
Almost
Also-
3 hours.
Help, they're holding hostage.
I told you, James.
I knew it.
Devil May Cry. We ain't gonna talk about this for like an hour.
I hate you.
They promised me pizza. They've been holding me here for 3 hours almost.
Hey, maybe it'll go with the strawberry sundae and some red wine.
Thank God I had
I'm
pizza
really
earlier.
concerned now.
No. Those are that's Dante's favorite food is pizza, strawberry sundaes, and he likes to drink red wine.
Oh, I know, but that, you know, the way you were saying that, you know.
It's kind of dirty.
In the podcast before Dom like slips on a roofie or something.
Okay.
Dom Cosby.
No, see, Martin might do some shit like that. but not me.
Okay. Harold, give us your outro.
Hi. I mean, bye. My name was Harold Finch. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Coolmanist. You can also find me on YouTube under the same name.
I like how he says my name was.
My name was.
You don't know what happens after the recording stops.
Mr. Renegade with the flu, and give us your outro.
You can find me on X videos at demonfucksyourmom.com. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter at Renegade Operative _. You can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. I don't know what I'm gonna do for Christmas stuff, but I'll find something out.
Okay.
Devil Hunter James.
Why did you say it like that though?
Get out.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at DevHunterJames. And that's about it.
And Dom.
Hold up, there's some gay accusations going on in the chat.
Dom, outro.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, so you can find Renegade Operative on pullmydeviltrigger.com. That's where all of his gay porn goes.
Man,
no,
get the
just
fuck
kidding.
out of here.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, my name is Biodevil Dom, Biodevil _Dom. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and on very rare occasions on Twitch. I might be doing a trailer breakdown, but I don't know if I'll upload it soon or not for the V trailer, because there was some extra stuff about that. But that being said, this has been one hell of a party.
Hey, and you can find me, your beautiful black sub-holiday host, on Twitter at Immortal Brando. And on one final note, to go back on Eva and Sparta, as Harold said, like, Eva probably used bait. I'm willing to bet she probably rubbed honey on her chest just to get Sparta to come in.
This nigga ain't a bait.
He was a cockroach.
Look, I'm just saying that she's gonna be like Chi-Chi and just be like, fuck me in this form.
Also, you
I don't know these niggas. I'm a one-time guest around
Also,
here. None of these niggas know me.
Yeah, look, roaches like sweet things a lot, so honey is sweet. Put two together.
Look, I'm just saying, like, if this was Dragon Ball, I'm willing to bet Chi-Chi's like, fuck me in your Super Saiyan form.
Yep. Well, what happens if he has more than one phallic
Okay.
object?
I don't know these people. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I guess you
Cool.
could say Sparta's gonna use force his edge, huh?
I don't know these niggas. I'm out. I don't know these
Sparta's
niggas.
gonna reveal his Sparta true form.
I don't even like these niggas.
I don't even
Wow,
know these niggas.
wow, you gonna do that to me like this?
See, there's the
Or you-
leave call button.
Oh my god. Okay, thank you all for watching. Let's end the recording now, please.
All right. So we're gonna sign off, people. Hopefully you have a Merry Christmas, and we will see you next time.
Happy
And
holidays.
And the last thing to hear before Christmas.
I eat
Sparta.
people.
Sparta.